Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexiot here. Saturday, and the Raptors played the Celtics last night and lost by 2 points. Another very narrow Celtics loss in recent years. It's weird and kind of fishy how we've lost seven straight to the Celtics. And a lot of these games in the last couple years have been like 2 or 3 point losses. Really, seriously. Like we play the Celtics really well, and we're just right there. And quite often, it's like a 2 or 3 point loss. In fact, two of the losses this year have been a 2 or 3 point loss. One of them in the in-season tournament. Now, I know the game that I went to last year against the Celtics with Stevie Roots, we lost by 2 points also. So there's a lot of stuff with that. All right, but before we talk about last night and the Celtics game, let's do the previews for the two games today. We've got a doubleheader today, guys. Basketball all day long. 2 o'clock start for the 9:05 at Wisconsin Herd in Mississauga today. So the Wisconsin Herd at 9:05 out in Mississauga, 2 p.m. start for that game. I'll have the refs for that first. Let's see what the refs are for that game first. We have Claire Aubrey once again is refereeing for the 9:05 game. She refereed 2 games ago. Crew chief Ken Jones is the referee, and JP Prim is the umpire. 2 o'clock start for Raptors 9:05. Marquise Noel. Let's see if Jonte's not sick anymore and he's playing for them. Hopefully they have good defense. I'd like to see the 9:05 have a fantastic performance in the middle of the day, because at 6 p.m., the Raptors are in Detroit to play the Pistons and hopefully defeat them and not mess around with the crazy streak that Detroit has right now. Holy crap. Don't mess around with that. Don't seriously. This is not a day for y'all to lose, Raptors. The Raptors are 4-11 in their last 15 games after starting 8-8 for the season. It sucks. The fact that they've only won 4 of their last 15 games is depressing to me in some ways, but it's just the era we're in right now. It's just where we're at with our culture reset and our new coach and trying to figure things out. Now, let's see what the injury reports are for today with Detroit and Toronto tonight. All right, let's see. Isaiah Stewart was announced on Friday that his toe is going to make him miss 10 to 14 days. So Isaiah Beef Stew is not in tonight, so we will not see him for the Pistons. He's a very important player to their team, to be honest. In fact, that's part of the reason why they lost the Celtics the other night. I'll bet you if they had Beef Stew, they might have pulled it off in that overtime loss to the Celtics. Monty Morris is also out. His quad has been a problem. He's got a quad strain, and he's out for a good little bit. He probably won't be back until the new year sometime. So those are the injuries for the Pistons. Their roster looks kind of like this right now. They've got Bogdanovich back. We did not see him the first time we played, so he's back in this game. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Bojan Bogdanovich, Jalen Duren, Killian Hayes, Alec Burks, Osar Thompson, James Wiseman, Marcus Sasser, Joe Harris, Isaiah Livers, Marvin Bagley III, Kevin Knox. Yeah, that's about their team right there. That listen, they've been losing. They got some talent, but they don't know how to win. They don't know how to play together exactly right. The coach is still figuring things out. This is a team like the Wizards, and we've routed this team already this season. We had our biggest win of the whole entire season against Detroit already. So we shouldn't mess around. You got to beat the Pistons no matter what. Let's not let them end their streak against us, Raptors. Let's push it along to the next team. They can deal with this mess that is called the Detroit Pistons. We don't need to mess with this. We need to just take care of business, go in there professionally and beat them and come back to Toronto and be ready for a New Year's Day game against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Don't play with your food is what I'm going to say right now. All right, the refs for tonight are actually really good once again. The Raptors have been getting stellar ref crews on the main team. In fact, they've had 2 really stellar ref crews. That one last night and one before, and they did not win in both those games where they had very favored ref crews. Well, they have a very favored ref crew again tonight, y'all. They're not sending people to make us lose to Detroit. I'm going to tell you that right now. Everybody's pushing that narrative in the last couple of days. The NBA is not trying to see us lose to them. Seriously, they got refs in there today that are our friends, refs that will look out for the Raptors. In fact, the crew chief Tyler Ford, his favorite team statistically in this whole entire league is the Raptors. We win 2 out of 3 games with him, 67% win percentage with Tyler Ford. And the very worst team for Tyler Ford in his career is the Detroit Pistons. So we have the best statistical record under the crew chief for tonight, and the Pistons have the worst statistical record under the crew chief tonight. So this is really, really good. Tyler Ford is a fantastic referee. He's a young referee. He's an up-and-coming rising star in the NBA as a referee. He's been given all kinds of award-like jobs. Like he gets to do all-star games. He gets to do finals and stuff because he's so on point with how he refs. He may be a little guy, and he may look a little goofy, but he is one of the best refs in the NBA, and he is very, very kind to the Raptors. Let's just put it that way. So Tyler Ford is our crew chief out of Lima, Ohio, his 10th season. Favorite TV show is Yellowstone. His favorite movie is Remember the Titans. His favorite book is The Positive of a Positive Team. His favorite meal is steak. His favorite musician is Old Dominion. His favorite app is Netflix. He'd most like to visit Ireland. Yeah, Tyler Ford is a cool dude. I like Tyler Ford a lot. He may be the most high-ranking referee in the league that tends to do nice things for the Raptors historically. So there you go. He's officiated. Well, that's not exactly true. They got to update the stats on here. All right. As I said, we win 67% of our games. We did lose the last game that Tyler Ford refereed for us. It was a game we should have won. It was right there, left on the table. We didn't win. I think it was the Utah game. I think he was reffing in the Utah game last Saturday when I went to the game with my family. So the last game we had Tyler Ford was last Saturday against Utah, and we managed to lose that game. Meanwhile, the Pistons win 26% of their games when Tyler Ford's available. So 67-26, that's like not even covering the whole 100%. So there you go. Tyler Ford is a fantastic crew chief for us. So Mitchell Irvin is our second ref. We know Drake lover Mitchell Irvin is a great ref for the Raptors, usually 10th season also out of New Orleans, Louisiana. His favorite TV show is BMF. His favorite movie is Coming to America. His favorite musician is Drake. It is Drake. Favorite book, Between the World and Me. He likes charred grilled oysters. His favorite app is TikTok. He'd most like to visit Africa, and his bucket list is to skydive. Yeah, Mitchell Irvin's all right, man. I've always liked Mitchell Irvin. He's been great for us at times. In fact, he's the worst ref for us today. We win 57% of our games. Mitchell Irvin's refereed. We lost the last game he refereed. But meanwhile, once again, is one of the worst records for him is the Pistons. 31% win percentage for them. So 57-31 is the split with Mitchell Irvin, the second ref. He's very friendly, Drake lover. And the last ref is John Conley in his 4th season out of Orlando, Florida. John Conley's favorite TV show is I Think You Should Leave. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. His favorite book is Be the Pack Leader. He would like some potatoes and pasta for his meal. His favorite movie is Dumb and Dumber. He'd most like to visit Australia, and his bucket list is to skydive in Dubai. He actually has a hidden talent of dog training. So he's like Cesar Millan. Maybe he's a dog whisperer. Shh, 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 shh. Don't you do that. Shh. Yeah, John Conley is a younger ref, and he is in our top 10 refs also, or like near the top 10 refs. He is in the higher echelon of winning. We have the same winning percentage with John Conley as Tyler Ford, 2 out of 3. 67% winning percentage with John Conley. Meanwhile, the Pistons have a 50% winning percentage with him. So he's the most friendly to the Pistons historically. But once again, he favors the Raptors. So we have 3 very favorable referees for the Raptors. And listen, don't mess around. We know that Pistons home court can become Raptors home court B. And in some ways, I hope there are people that are getting the gumption to go across the border to support the Raptors in Detroit's arena today. I really hope so. I think there will be. Jack Armstrong calling it out at the game last night, saying, if y'all are going to Detroit, get down there and get loud. We need you to come and support the Raptors to stop possibly helping the Pistons break their streak. So, yeah, anybody is fortunate enough to be able to jump the border and go there for that game tonight. 6 p.m. start, by the way, y'all. It's an hour early. Yeah, please go there and be very, very loud. Please. So, yeah, there's your ref breakdown for today. Very good ref crew for the Raptors. They're not trying to hit job us and make us lose to the Pistons. Whatever people like Chris Haynes are saying is stupid shit. No, the NBA has sent us a very favorable crew to help us and hopefully not lose to them. So let's hope that's true. All right, let's see what's the comments. Let's see. We'll start with Trevor J. Good morning, Raptors family. Happy game day once again. Go and win this one, please. We believe in you. Do it. Yes, 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 yes. You know, last night in the game, I felt like the Raptors were not very good for most of the game. And then they turned it on late and they had a chance to beat, albeit not the full strength Celtics, but still a good team, a well-run team that has a lot of good things going for it right now. And it seemed like they were this close. It seemed like they were so close to possibly stealing this game last night. In some ways, this game last night for the Celtics was a trap game, and we should have trapped them. We should have fully trapped the animal and got them, but we didn't. In some ways, this game should have been a trap game for the Celtics. They came in so overconfident. They're benching a lot of guys that maybe they probably should have used, like Porzingis or Horford. I can understand benching Tatum. The 2 nights of a back-to-back, they switched Brown and Tatum out, just like I said. But they were very overconfident. The crowd was very overconfident. They were playing very well and they were beating our butt for most of the game by 15. But then we came back and we shut that crowd up. And as Trevor Jay said in our chat coming out, the Celtics fans were sweating. They were sweating a little bit. They know that Scotty Superstar is on the rise and that, he could have new powers, a rise all of a sudden and just in a game all of a sudden. And the potential threat of Scott just going crazy and winning the game last night was very much on the minds of the Celtics. So, yeah, it's too bad we didn't make it happen. It's too bad our execution is still lacking in very important times at the end of the game. It's too bad we still miss free throws, but because we could have possibly beat the Celtics last night if we were a better team. If we were a better team, we had our shit together better. We played better, like free throw wise and just defense wise for the whole game. That would have been maybe just enough to beat the Celtics last night. They didn't start playing defense until like the fourth quarter, it seemed like. In fact, Scott said it after the game in his interview. It's like, yeah, we finally started playing defense at some point. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. If you could do that a little earlier, maybe you would win the game. You know what I'm saying? It's just like start playing the defense a little earlier because y'all did start playing defense in the fourth and it mattered. It swallowed up the lead and y'all got close to them and got in striking distance of stealing this game from them and doing a trap game on them. I really wanted to do a trap game to them. Thank you once again, Commissioner Jay, for going into the arena with your friends and cheering for those Raptors in another arena. That's fantastic stuff. Trevor's saying, once again, we did not start right, making Brown go off on us. Then we have to fight back. Once again, we made it very interesting in the fourth quarter. We had to win, but we let it slip away. Yeah, OG on Brown, that's a matchup that, is a marquee matchup in a lot of ways. It's like one of the best offensive players versus one of the best defensive players. They're best friends. They know each other very, very well. There has a lot of mutual respect between Anunoby and Brown. I just wish Anunoby had done a better job containing him early. In fact, he was losing him here and there, and Jalen was just killing us, absolutely killing us. He was the superstar for the first half of the game, for sure. Definitely the first superstar for the first half of the game. Fiercey's here. Thank you, Trevor J, for representing the Raptor Free family at the game. I think they mentioned you guys at the broadcast. Yeah, actually, it was cool because I'm watching the feed last night, and they were showing a lot of the crowd during the pregame. And I was looking for Trevor J. I wanted to see if I could see him. But it was funny just how many Raptors jerseys were getting caught in the Celtics camera. They did not want to show Raptors fans. But there was another Raptors fan jumping in the camera, pointing at a Raptors jersey, and the camera would pan away real quick from the Raptors people. It seemed like there were at least 6 or 7 of those shots that happened pregame with Raptors fans jumping into the camera at the Toronto Dominion Garden. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Good job, Trevor J, infiltrating. Yeah. Dana's saying, good morning, everyone. Happy game day. We will win tonight. Let's go. We better win tonight. I don't want to be having no Kobe Bryant 81-point history going on today. Raptors, you do not want to be known like Jalen Rose for that. You really, really don't. Really, really, really don't. This team is already breaking history. They're going to be known as this for a long, long time. We don't want to be known as the team that helped them get out of it. No, we don't. In fact, they're going to try really, really hard because they're tied with the record right now with the Sixers And if they lose tonight, in some ways, Sixers fans are rooting for us tonight to help them not be this team anymore in the record books. So this may be one of the very rare nights where a lot of Sixers nations actually rooting for the Raptors. Think about it. They have the record, their franchise, and they'd like to pass it to the Pistons franchise today. Fiercely saying, good morning, Dana. Dap. Yeah, I love it. Fiercely's also saying, morning, fam. Happy game day. Not too disappointed with the L, as it showed we can clearly come back and beat the Celtics, but it also exposed Gary. His only noticeable highlight was the steal. Yeah, listen, in some ways I don't hate it. Once again, I have to say I was right. I was right. And a lot of people that have been tooting Gary's horn this whole season and saying if he starts, he'll be better. I was right. It doesn't matter if he starts or not. He is not well. He's not playing right. In fact, I don't know if he's actually playing to help us at this point. In some ways, I feel like he may be compromised, like somebody like Nick Nurse last year. He's one of the few remnants of clutch on our team. We could look at the two main clutch people on our team at this point is Gary and Koloko. Well, look at Koloko. What's going on with him? Is he out because he's out, or is it because Clutch is holding him out under bad advice and trying to hurt the Raptors organization for Nick or something like that? I know I'm reading between the lines. I'm conspiracy theorying. I'm doing a little bit of Windhurst-ing, but does this make sense? Because, Gary was like the same kind of free throw shooter as Dennis last year. He was like almost 90%. And this year he's almost 50. That's the easiest way he can shave points and hurt us. Seriously. If he's a Clutch agent, Clutch is an agency, and Koloko has Clutch as their agency. What the hell are they contributing to the Raptors this year? Seriously. I may sound like a conspiracy theorist, but you know what? They're saying conspiracies on other places and saying stupid shit that's just not true. Well, why don't I put it out in a way that's helpful for the Raptors in some ways? Because I do kind of feel like this. Because when Gary got to the line last night, and he so badly missed the first free throw, he turned to the bench and he kind of like made an excuse. And he like kind of tried to apologize for missing the free throw like that. That's not like him. I'm telling you, there's something. What if this guy's shaming his production on purpose for nefarious reasons because of Rich Paul, Clutch, and bullshit? Like a weird underlying feud. Nick got fired. Rich Paul, and Nick Nurse called Masai's bluff. He said, "Nah, you guys are not strong arming me. Y'all are not acting like this. Nah, because I bet you the next move after this was Nick going to be like asking for some crazy uppage on his money or something. I don't know. I don't trust anybody in Clutch at this point. I really, really don't. And if Gary's Clutch and he's not making shots either on purpose or because or whatever it is, it doesn't look good for you, Gary. In some ways, it's really bad. If you're trying to hurt us from the inside, well, that's messed up, bro. That is messed up because you shouldn't be shooting this bad at the free throw line this year. And it is really a huge red flag. As much as Scotty's jump on the 3-point line is up and amazing and astounding, your fall at the free throw line is a big red flag. And to me, people don't go that bad at the free throw line unless they're trying to miss. Yeah, trying to miss, Gary. So I'm wondering about every single stupid little shot that you take that's short. Every single open three that you absolutely brick. I'm wondering about all that right now. In some ways, I don't trust you. In some ways, you are Clutch. And that's enough for me to not trust you at this point. That's right. We'll have to see how it goes. In some ways, I don't want Gary on our team anymore. He's just not reliable. He can be a really good player if he's hitting and he's going well. Maybe he's doing this shit to get himself off this team. I don't know. In some ways, I don't trust Rich Paul. I don't trust LeBron James. I don't trust Clutch. And Nick and Fred gone. Christian and Gary, the only two left on our team from Clutch. And in some ways, I don't really want any Clutch people on our team anymore going forward, is what I'm going to say right now. Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Fiercely saying also, so those who kept bashing Dennis and demanded starting lineup changes, there you go. Lex was right. Makes no difference whether he starts or comes off the bench. Same results. I wish I wasn't right. I wish he had expanded his game coming in the starting lineup and played better and better. No, he plays the exact same stat line, whether he starts or comes off the bench. And I try to tell y'all that way before. Now, I do like the effect he has on the spacing, and I do like Dennis coming off the bench because he helps the backup team so much. But, those aren't anything to do with Gary. In some ways, that has to do with pushing Malachi out of the rotation and Dennis being more steady for the backup lineup as a leader of that lineup. So yeah, it's crazy. We saw Scott running the point right off the start of the game, and you saw what I've been trying to tell y'all. We saw both things that I've been trying to tell y'all. Him taking careless passes and causing turnovers. It's really weird because like right off the bat, Scott was the point guard and he caused a turnover right away. And then we didn't really see that anymore for the rest of the game. We saw Siakam bringing the ball up too. There was a little bit of everything, and really amazing that the Raptors only had like 4 or 5 turnovers last night, the whole entire game. That was really good job by the team taking care of the ball, especially against a team like the Celtics, who are a defensive team that really do like to make you cough it up. So it's interesting how they did a little toe in the pool with Scotty being the point guard right at the beginning of the game, and then they went away from it later on. That was interesting to me. See, I'm telling y'all, Scotty as the point guard is a dangerous experiment. And in some ways, it'll be very good over time as he gets more savvy and smart as an NBA player. But the beginning of it will be scary. And there will be a lot of failure in it. And that you saw that at the beginning. And then also the other thing I was pointing out about it earlier this week, that if he's running the point guard, how the hell is he supposed to be our main scorer? He can't be in 2 places at once. He can't be cloned. And this is why I'll argue till I'm blue in the face that we don't need Scotty to be the point guard. We need him to be the guy who's getting the points and getting assists for other people on our team. As much as y'all are in love with Scotty being the point guard Scotty, and all this stuff, it's just not the smartest route for the future of the Raptors. Just trust me on this. I was right about Gary. I'm right about Scott on this too. Seriously. But yeah, it was a fantastic game for Scotty, though, overall. Really, really good game. In fact, I was crying out for him to break his career high in points. It seems like this barrier is invisible, like he has an invisible fence, like a dog, that he can't get past 32 points. Scott, if you had hit one more three and broken your 3 points for a game even further, that would have really helped us last night. We lost by 2. And you know what? If you had gotten 33 and broken your career high and won the game with a game winner, that would have been huge. In fact, Darko said after the game that he had drew the play up for Scott to shoot a 3, but instead he went into the lane for a 2. And that's not what he wanted. Darko wanted us to go for the win. He did not want us to go for the tie. So once again, I'm a little worried about the Raptors disregarding what Darko's wishes are in the clutch play at the end of the game and going on their own script. That's not good. It's serious. Y'all need to listen to your coach and do what he wants. Like Jack said in the broadcast, you're on the road. You do not want to go to overtime. You need to take the 3. And why you went into the lane at that moment was stupid. You didn't even convert. You would have been better off shooting the 3, Scott. Seriously. See, it's stuff like this that he needs to learn and mature and get smarter and savvier in situational basketball situations. It could very well be he saw it was only a 2-point game. He wanted to tie it and put it in overtime. But if your coach told you you're on the road, we don't want no overtime in the TD Garden, you need to go for 3 to win the game. You better listen to him, is what I'm saying. Because Darko said that after the game. He wanted him to take a 3. And he went inside and went for a 2. So that in some ways, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You need to listen to the coach. Seriously. You need to listen to the coach. Fiercely saying Washington was practice. Boston was the first true test, was the true test. Yeah. And in some ways, I hate that we can't say we went up against their full squad. That's the easy thing. That's why Celtics do this. They say that we're not going to play a bunch of main players so that even if you beat us, it's a hollow victory. Or if we beat you, we're going to look so good and everybody can say, oh, they didn't even have Tatum and y'all lost. That's the kind of BS is part of the reason why teams will do that. Higher up teams like that. Like last night, Embiid did not play for Philly and they still managed to beat the Houston Rockets. And so, that's, in some ways they can lord that over the other team and saying, oh, you couldn't even beat us without Embiid. It's that kind of BS. In some ways, it doesn't matter who shows up. Every team's going to have injuries from night to night. So if you beat a team, listen, you're beating their culture. You're beating their playbook. You're beating the way they've been running, regardless of whether key pieces are missing or not. It's like Jack said last night. The Celtics are the Celtics with or without Tatum. They're going to do certain things a certain way. So it was a good test for sure. Trevor's saying, may your day be beautiful, peaceful. happy, healthy, abundant, and filled with love being sent your way. I want to see a W and then another W right after that. Because listen, I'm telling you right now, this 2 o'clock game with the 905, you guys show up correctly. For some reason, the Raptors are going to follow right behind you. Whatever you're going to do against the Wisconsin Herd at 2 o'clock, in some way, some magical thing happens with the Raptors later that day. So I want to see 905 kick some butt early because they may be the harbinger of what may be to come later at 6 o'clock. So please, both Raptors teams, take care of stuff. Our day is going to be filled with Raptors basketball. That's right. That's what it is, Trevor J. Thank you for the words of wisdom. And good morning to Fiercey. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Commissioner J. Once again, I sat there and watched Gary before the game. He put up shots, making them. Once the game started, he made 1 out of 3. See, that's what I'm wondering about what I said, Trevor. You were there early. You saw Gary in pregame warmup, and he was nailing every single shot. You know, Gary, if you don't like my allegations, go prove me wrong, is that's what I'm going to say. Because right now, allegations seem strong, especially with the free throw percentage. There's no way you'd be dropping 30 points in your free throw percentage without some purposeful missing at the free throw line. Yeah, you're giving a little tax against us for clutch. Gary, I'm wondering about this right now. Seriously, I'm wondering about this. This is a very plausible theory, is what I'm saying right now. It's a very, very plausible theory. How the hell do you shoot so badly all of a sudden this year after last year and the way you played? Seriously, you could do it for a clutch coach, but you can't do it for Darko Rajakovic? That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering today. That's right. Jillian's here. Good morning, y'all. Good morning to you, Jillian. Always good to see you. Awesome stuff. Let's see, Trevor, if that is what you witnessed with Gary, what do you think happened to him? I don't know. I think that I think it's a couple of things. I have some theories. Of course, we have Chris's theory that he's fat. He's fat this year. That's why he's having a horrible time. He's just fat. That's Chris MSJ's theory. My good friend Chris, who I met 2 times at the Raptor Street meet and greet. MSJ. That's what he thinks it is. I think that either he's on edibles or maybe he has a new drug problem. Maybe he's on some sort of thing that makes him dopey, because I feel like he's lackadaisical. We're seeing quite often he's kind of getting caught at the top of the key, and he's getting the ball knocked out of his hands. Like he almost lost it again last night, but he recovered it. He's very lucky right at the beginning of the game. I'm like, Gary, get in tune with the game. Stop acting like you're half asleep. Are you on some sort of medication that makes you a little bit? Because your energy's different, and I think there's something new you're ingesting, whether it's something that's not good for you or something that is supposed to be a supplement or something. There's something Gary's taking that makes him sleepy or lackadaisical or half-assed. I don't know what it is. He's half-assed with that way he's moving and taking care of the ball. He's half-assed with the way he's shooting. He's half-assed with finishing layups so people come and block him from behind. He's just playing very half-assed. And I'm wondering if it's either on purpose for what I've talked about already, if it's something new in his regimen that he's ingesting that is making him more lackadaisical or a little loopy or a little bit out of it. That's the only way I can read it, because his energy is half-assed this year. It's half-assed. And if he's being half-assed on purpose, well, what are we going to do about that? What are we going to do about that? All right, let's keep going. Trevor's saying, Scotty, Pascal, McDaniels, all better than Gary. What a night for Scotty. He made 7 threes. All right, let's do the 3 stars of the game since Commissioner Jay brought it up. My first star of the game is Siakam. I could pick Scotty, but I like Siakam's line a little bit better than Scotty's. 10 of 18 from the field for Siakam. He was cooking. And there was times in the game where he was calling out to his teammates to find him. Dennis specifically, I did see that. And it wasn't, what happened? Dennis went to Scott instead of Pascal when he was calling it, that one play. But it did seem like they were not finding Siakam enough and that they need to seek him out better. So I didn't totally like that. I didn't totally like that Siakam didn't get more shots, even though he got 27 points. Absolutely fantastic. 2 of 5 from the 3, 5 of 8 from the free throw line. So he takes the burden of having 3 of the 7 free throw misses. And that really hurt us, Siakam. Once again, Monique was noticing that he has a new free throw ritual during the game. And I don't like it because Siakam, you're still not shooting very well. 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, a +8 with 1 turnover only, 27 points. Yeah, there was a lot of good Siakam in this game. The mid-range shot was really nice. He's turning around. He's doing good stuff around there. But where was he at times? Where was he at the very end of the game going to him? Where was he at times in the middle of the game when he probably should have been going to instead of going to Jalen McDaniels or who was it? McDaniels or Malachi? They were doing that a little bit again. Or is Dennis? Dennis and McDaniels taking shots. It should be Scotty and Pascal. I agree with that. When Raptors Nation said Dennis should not be taking so many shots and Scotty and Pascal should be, I agreed with that. And then in some ways, Siakam was a victim of not getting as many shots as I would have liked him to last night, and especially in the fourth quarter. I would have loved to have seen Siakam take over more in the fourth quarter. We had that great advantage of bully ball with our size against such a small Boston lineup, and we did not utilize it as much. In some ways, we were trying to do a 3-point shootout with them, and that was stupid. I know Jack says 2 points don't count as much as three, but if you play good defense and you get more 2-pointers than 3-pointers from the other side, well, you can win that way too. But yeah, I feel like the Raptors did not utilize their size advantage correctly, and part of the reason why is this: Darko said after the game that they had set up their game plan for the Celtics with Horford and Porzingis in mind. And they didn't find out that they weren't playing until an hour before the game, and they scrambled to change their game plan in relation to the bigs not being there. And so they had not wanted to key on going inside because they figured Porzingis was going to be there. So this is a very real way that the injury report and people who not show up at this last minute can really affect the Raptors' game plan. Is that, Porzingis being out, we were not going to go inside. And that's part of the reason why we didn't go inside last night as much as we should have, because the original game plan was with Porzingis being out there, and we were making an offense that was not going to be near there. Well, they were trying to adjust with the hour before the game. And then even during the game, Darko said we were trying to adjust and figure it out with the bigs gone from Boston. So they had prepared the game ready to play against the Boston bigs, and they had to adjust on the fly. And that's part of the reason why they didn't go inside as much. Right there. Right there. All right, let's see. My second star of the game is Scotty Barnes. Scotty was really flirting with his career best game ever. He had 30 points in 38 minutes, 10 of 24 from the field, 7 of 15 from three. In fact, I really love the three-point shooting he was doing. The only thing I would love is if he would mix it up a little bit more even with being inside. Out of the 24 shots, he took 15 from outside. So that only leaves 9 shots in the paint. And that's no good, Scott. I want to see you get even with that. 10 points, 10 shots from the inside, 10 points, 10 shots from the outside. You can take 10 threes if you take 10 paint touches, paint shots in there. 3 or 4 at the free throw line. So he was guilty of missing one of the free throws that were important. 10 rebounds with 3 offensive rebounds. 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, 2 turnovers, -3, 30 points. 30 points. Yeah. Scott, man, you make one more 3, that's 33, your career high, and maybe even the game winner that would have won the game. In some ways, that's the shot you should have took. Instead of going into the lane and you and Siakam bobbling bunnies near the basket in the paint, you should have figured out. Like, there was one play where you guys passed it around all crazy near the end of the game, and Scott was the last guy to get a touch. He was absolutely open, and he nailed it. If we could have made that play happen right at the end, we might have had that 1-point lead right at the end of the game and won the game. Man, I wish you'd been smart enough to understand your coach wanted you to take a 3, and you should have took a 3 at the end of the game. So as much as Scott was fantastic, there's still a lot to work out and get better about, and get better as far as learning how to win in the NBA. And that is some of the stuff I'm just talking about right now. Yeah, my third star of the game, you could say maybe it should be Jalen McDaniels. Maybe it could be OG or Jakob. Jakob was actually pretty good with a double-double and underrated. And even though he was hurting us at times too, I get it. Cornette kind of played circles around him in some ways. But, Jakob still played a very solid stat game. And a lot of people are coming down on him and saying a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to make the third star of the game my favorite. Dennis Schroeder. Of course, he comes off the bench and he shoots 50% and he gets 9 assists with 0 turnovers. How anybody can complain about Dennis is just stupid at this point. 35 minutes, 15 points, 6 of 12 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3. He did miss one of his free throws late, and that was really deflating for sure. That annoyed me. That may be the worst thing he did last night, was missing that first free throw in clutch that would have really helped us tie the game. But that's too bad. It just happens that way sometimes. I don't know. That Celtics crowd is hard to shoot free throws against. They are very active and they do this little wave sway thing that they do behind the basket. Yeah, one block for Dennis, also a +2, 15 points. Yeah, I like what Dennis did. That's just a solid backup point guard line. If he's a backup point guard and I'm going to look for the line, that's what I wanted Malachi to do on the regular. 15 points, 9 assists, 0 turnovers, 6 for 12 from the field. Malachi, if you could do that, you would be the backup point guard. That's what a backup point guard's line looks like, a successful one. And yeah, so I'm giving the 3 stars to Siakam, Barnes, and Schroeder. Schroeder off the bench. Yeah, I mean, we could go into more of these guys, and I could talk about Jalen McDaniels could have been the 3rd star also. He was 5 of 10, which is fantastic. He was absolutely a spark off the bench, doing a lot of good different things. Of course, he's really not a good 3-point shooter, but he was very encouraged to shoot threes. He was 2 of 7. He did miss one of the free throws, which is annoying. He had no rebounds, which is crazy. 2 assists, 1 steal, +8 with 13 points in 15 minutes. Yeah, McDaniels was fantastic. And, it's great to see him smile. It's great to see him get the interview after the game. He's talking a very professional way about his role and what's been happening with him on the Raptors and him finally getting back into the rotation recently. So a very, very good attitude by Jalen and the way he's handled his ups and downs with the Raptors this season so far. So you go, McDaniels. In fact, you're a pleasant surprise and a pleasant rediscovery for our team right now. I really am happy about it. All right, let's keep going. Jillian saying, Fiercey, Dennis leading depends on the opposing team. Yeah, I don't know. If he's going to be the backup point guard, he's done that against every team in the league. So I don't know if it matters with that. Lumpy Rex is here. Good to see Lumpy Rex. 007, a great Raptor freak, a great Raptors fan, very, very diehard. We love you, Lumpy. I hope you've been doing very well, and happy holidays. Go Raptors. Can't lose tonight. Yeah, I'm with you on this one, Lumpy. Yeah, Jillian, do you know Lumpy Rex? Yeah, he's all over the place. He's on Talking Raptors. He's on Raptors Tonight. He's just a good Raptors fan that shows up in a whole bunch of different places, and he does frequent our chats sometimes. Lumpy, respect and salute to you, sir. Jillian saying, Trevor J, I meant if Gary got pregame shots, what happened during the game? Did he not look confident? Well, Jillian, I think I've gone over this pretty extensively this stream already. I have my own theories. Chris thinks he's fat, but I think he's clutch is what it is. I think it's because he's clutch. That's my theory on it. Kareem's here. Kareem Thomas is saying, we can put up all these godly assists, but what does it matter if we don't play defense? Boom goes the dynamite. That is so true. In fact, that may be the best statement about our team and its problems right now. I feel like with Scotty's all-star play, Nick Nurse would have us top 5 and not bottom 5 in the East. Yeah, I agree with you. I totally agree with you, Kareem, because, that's one of the trade-offs with not having Nick anymore. Nick is such a competitor. Nick is seriously one of the best coaches in the league, and we're feeling his effects after his departure. We're seeing what he's adding to the Sixers and their excellence. There's a certain level of the reason why we never gave up in games is because Nick is part of the way he drove our guys for defense is Nick. And I hate that. That's part of the problem right now. Now, Darko's a very offensive coach, and he's having amazing stuff happen with playmaking and assists. But what's the trade-off? In some ways, it's like this, Kareem. Let's think about it this way. In the basics of basketball, we had a hard time garnering or organic offensive stuff the last few years under Nick Nurse. That was Achilles' heel. Well, Darko's cultivated it, but he had to rip up the ground a bit. He had to till the ground and rip up the roots and the soil a little bit. And in some ways, that defensive roots and soil have to be regrown into the ground and solid again. Now, to me, it's harder to build your offense than your defense because defense is very predicated on energy and getting to places and working hard. Offense is skill-oriented. And in some ways, getting our skill-oriented offense up right now is better because in the end, we can always ratchet up our defensive energy and try and do better on defense. In fact, that's what we did last night. It's like these guys didn't play defense for 3 quarters. And then Darko reminded them, yeah, if you want to win, you got to stop them at the other end. And they did. They started playing defense. It's almost like they turned it on. And that's part of the reason why we had a chance to win last night. So part of it is that they need to figure out when they need to turn it on earlier. And it's different for every night. They may need it all 48 on certain games against very tough opponents. Now, against this version of the Celtics last night, they could coast on defense and still try and win, but they didn't turn the defense on soon enough. It may have been that they needed to turn the defense on after halftime a little bit better and cut their scoring down immediately after halftime and eat into that 15-point margin that they had sooner than so late. Because in some ways, to eat it up and get over the hump and then be on top of them at the end, you need more time. You need more time. So some of it's gauging that, and some of it's just like, why don't y'all just do this a whole 48 and just play defense the whole time? So in some ways, I get what we're saying here, Kareem, you and I, that the offense is fantastic. We're getting a record number of assists and good stuff like that, but the defense is gone all of a sudden, and we know defense is so integral to winning games. So yeah, Jillian's asking me, am I cold? Yes, I am. That is my thermostat right there, and its batteries died in the last day or so, and I didn't notice it until like last night. I was like, why is it so cold in my house? And I went and looked at the thermostat, and there's no number on it. And I realized the AAA batteries have died. I need to go and get new AAA batteries, and then I'll cut it on, and the heat will be back on. So I don't have heat in my house right now. That is why I am wearing my hood up over my eye. I am cold. It's true. All right. All right, Kareem Thomas is next. We lost our fabric of defense. We are no longer fighting through screens and switching on everything, giving this opposing team the matchup advantages. Jeff Doubt was known to fight off screens. Yeah, part of this is the Nick Nurse strategy, just like Jillian's saying. Checks notes, Nick Nurse is gone. Yeah, Nick Nurse is a defensive coach in a lot of ways. And in some ways, that is what we lost. That aggressiveness in those certain ways. Listen, I understand we're not exactly the same defensive team as we've been in the past, but we can get it back. The personnel and the talent and the length is still there. It's just that we need to key on it and really harp on it with these guys. It's almost like we got to put it all together at once. We got the offense garnering something now, and we need to reintroduce ourselves with the great defense also. It'll happen. It may be part of the second half strategy of Darko to key more on defense and getting these guys to play better on that end of the floor. Right now, he just wants the energy to get the offense going right. Yeah, Jeff Doughton was good for this, for sure. Let's see. Kareem saying, we better beat the dog shit out of the Detroit, or I'm not watching the Raptors for the rest of the year. Laugh out loud. We should beat them today. We honestly should. I mean, like I said, we've got a lot of things on our side, and we just need to do it. Honestly, they're going to be scared. They're going to be tough. They're going to be like very, very fighting us tough, and they don't want to get this record. So it's going to be hard in some ways, but also in some ways, we have a lot of advantages, and we just need to play to our optimum level and talent. We should beat them. So hopefully they will. If they don't, well, tomorrow will be a weird stream. But it'll be what it's supposed to be. Hopefully we just win, and it'll be awesome, and we'll be fine. Let's see. Jillian saying, Kareem, we had defense the second half. I would say the fourth quarter. I wouldn't even say the third. I wouldn't. We didn't play any defense in the third quarter either. I'd say we started playing defense in the fourth, which is really scary. Scotty was nonchalant. It made me laugh when he said in the interview, he's like, oh, we finally started playing defense. That's what he said in the interview at the end, after the game. They straight up. Scott said, oh, yeah, we finally decided to start playing defense. I'm like, well, decide earlier. Please, young man. Please start playing defense earlier than the fourth quarter. Jillian saying it, Trevor, can you go to Detroit, please? Yeah, I don't know. I want to go to Detroit today, but I can't. I'm not going to be able to get there. Stargate saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Great ref crew for Raptors game tonight. The only thing better would be if Bill Kennedy was there as well. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it's a great ref crew. Tyler Ford, you're my hero. Mitchell Irvin, you're awesome. John Conley, you're a nice young ref. Yeah, they're all upper echelon refs for us in the history of the Raptors franchise. These guys, when they ref us, we win. So hopefully this will be the case tonight and continue the Pistons on down their losing streak. That's right. Jillian's saying, hey, Kareem, I got you off Nurse. All right, let's see. Randolph saying, beloved Raptors freaks, most informative gang. We were right there, even if the fans, were tasting the victory. On to the next one. Yeah, it's tough, Randolph. I mean, it was a tease in some ways. There's a really good scare for Celtics Nation. They have a 15-0 home record that really they were worried about last night. I wish we had beat them. I wish we had figured it out. It's kind of cheesy to see our old players come back to haunt us. O'Shea Brissett, Delano Banton, Svi Mahalik, all getting time in the game last night and playing against us. I still can't get over that Delano is a Boston Celtic. It's so weird. Was watching the in-game ops, and they did a contest between Delano and Kristaps Porzingis about the mascots and naming them. And poor Delano, it wasn't a fair match. People got to realize that Kristaps has played in the NBA longer than him. He's played for more teams, and he's played in the Western Conference. And Delano has not. So how the hell is Delano going to guess all the Western Conference mascots? Yeah, Kristaps wiped the floor with him and the mascot identification. In fact, the last mascot was G Wiz from the Wizards. And of course, Porzingis better know who G Wiz is. He played for the Wizards the last couple years. So yeah, that was an interesting little side thing that I noticed last night. Delano being a Celtic is weird. It's just weird, man. And I know there was a lot of trash talk between our guys and him on the bench. You could see Pascal go over to the Boston bench at one point, John with Delano, I think. And Scotty was talking to him too, for sure, in different ways. Those guys are such good friends. I'm sure there was a lot of friendly trash talk there. Very, very friendly trash talk. All right, Jillian wants to give a dunk to Randolph. All right, we can do that. Let me get my dunk sheet up. I don't have it up right now. We will give a dunk to Randolph Phillips, the benevolent Randolph Phillips. All right, Randolph is, where is he on the list? There he is. He's getting his 8th dunk. Boom. Put it in on the spreadsheet. No more chicken scratch. No more chicken scratch. It's on a spreadsheet now. Stargate saying, I see chinks in the armor of Boston. If you get physical with them, they fold. I can see a lot of weaknesses with them. Honestly, I still think their coach is a weakness. That was weird challenges last night. The ref crew really was looking out for us. Y'all see what ref report is undefeated. Those refs were awesome. I love the delay of game charge on Peyton Pritchard for doing his little dribble. There was an offensive foul on them that was awesome. They were looking out for us. In fact, the very end of the game, they gave us free throws in a last second chance after time expired. When has a ref crew ever done that for the Raptors in Boston home court, where they stop the game? Everybody's walking off the court because it's over, and they say, no, the Raptors still have a chance. I love that. You go, David Guthrie and the crew that was there last night. They were really helping us. And in some ways, I wish we had gotten the deal done, because they were definitely not against us. They were definitely giving us very fair calls last night, the refs. And I expect the same for tonight. So Raptors really win tonight. Holy crap. We've been getting good referees, really good referees, and y'all are not capitalizing on it. And that's bugging me. That is bugging me. Stargate saying, I hear Koloko wants to move away from Clutch, much like OG last year. So we may see a change in agency for Christian. That would be great. That would be fantastic. I would be all about that. Please go like OG and move away from Rich Paul right away, Christian Koloko. Please. And also come back and play. Is Rich Paul telling you, no, man, you got long COVID. You can't play, bro. But I feel fine, Rich. But Koloko, just trust me. You got long COVID. You can't play. Just tell them I got a doctor's order. You can show the Raptors. But I'm fine. I don't feel anything. No, here, long COVID. I don't know. I don't trust Clutch. I don't trust Rich Paul in anything they do. No, I don't. Not after going through the year last year with Nick Nurse. No, I don't. Jillian's saying, Lex, Gary needs to rest his plantar fasciitis. Yeah, he can rest his feet, rest his whole body, rest whatever, rest his head, rest his weird misses for being such a good shooter. Yeah, there's something funny about it, Jillian. I may be saying crazy stuff, and this may sound like crazy conspiracy theories, but you need to look into it and think about it. I'm just saying the way he misses stuff is suspicious to me, because he's too good a shooter. Trevor J sees he hits everything before the game. He's not missing anything. And then the game, he's missing everything. That's so very suspicious. It's like you have to zone in to know where the basket is and to begin the game. And then you can miss them and make it look like you're trying to hit them because you know where the basket is because you zoned in at the beginning of the game. All right, let's see. Monique is saying, good morning, Raptor Freak family. Man, Gary Trent needs to hit 300 shots. I don't know what Gary needs to do. Just whatever he's doing recently that's changed his body or his lackadaisicalness. He needs to stop doing it. Yeah, whatever it is what is it ever new thing. Maybe he's doing something like maybe he has an addiction that he's not being honest about. Maybe there's something he's doing, like maybe he has painkiller addiction or something. I don't know. I'm speculating. I'm not saying this is true. I'm just trying to figure out why his body is more lethargic this season than it was last year. Is he taking some sort of medication that has a side effect? It's a perfectly legal drug that he's taking as a supplement or something like that. I'm just trying to Winders the shit out of this. What is the mystery behind Gary Trent Jr.? And why is another clutch client have so much mystery around them on our team? Whether it's Fred, whether it's Nick, whether it's Gary, whether it's Christian, they all have mysteries around them. Big question marks. Question mark. That's what these guys are. Question marks. Jillian's saying, Lex, Gary did do well for Raps last win. He did okay. He had 12 points, Jillian. It's not like he's the Gary that we love that gets almost 30 points. No, he hasn't had a single big Gary game this year yet. Last year, he would get like 5 30-point games in a row. This year, he has not even scratched barely 20. It's crazy how bad he is this year. And it has nothing to do with him starting or coming off the bench. It has nothing to do with his minutes. He just sucks. He's missing his shots. So even though he played acceptable in starting for us against the Wizards, that game was a rout, and he still didn't really score a whole lot, and he didn't look that good. Honestly, you go look at his stat sheet from Wednesday. It's not that good still, Jillian. Troy Henry saying, what the fuck, man? Another bad night. Just piss me off and send me to bed. If they ever let the Pistons beat them tonight, I'm done watching the Raptors for the season. Troy Henry saying similar thing to Kareem earlier. Well, let's just hang in there, Troy Henry. You're a good Raptors freak. I know you're mad because we lost a close game last night, but listen, it is what it is. We got to accept things as they are right now and hope that things improve and get better. We learn how to win again. We learn how to take over games and win again. You know what? We would have won that game last night if Fred was on our team. I'm going to say that right now. If Van Vliet was still putting on a Raptors red jersey, we would have beat the Celtics in that game last night because it's so close. I'm telling you, that's the damn truth. In fact, with the Rockets playing the Sixers last night, Nick Nurse in the press conference before the game talking about Fred's winning ways. Fred wins wherever he goes. He just wins. He's just a winner. And I agree with him. And that's one of the things that people did not respect last year in Raptors Nation about Fred VanVleet. He's a winner. And in some ways, the winning ways of the Raptors have coincided with him and Kyle Lowry being around. And well, Fred's gone. We don't win games like last night that are close because he probably would have helped us win that game last night. It's so close like that. So I will just say that. Troy Henry, please don't turn your back on the Raptors. Let's just beat the Celtics today. Monique is saying, is it ever good to see Jalen McDaniels back in the rotation? Wow, I'm impressed. He's really skinny, but he has a lot of good length. And one of the things I really like is his finishes with and ones last night were fantastic. He didn't get them exactly clean, and he was kind of doing those Chris Boucher acrobatic, like kind of throw it up kind of with his long length around defenders and getting hit for and ones and getting to the line. That was awesome. And in some ways, he shows a really nice chemistry with Scotty. You know, I'm paying attention to this. Who gets passes from Scotty really well and converts? Who does Scotty get passes to himself from and converts himself? That's what I'm paying attention to. And the people that I like are Pascal and Chris and Jalen and Precious for this. Those 4 guys are very good with Scotty, and they play very well with him off of him. Now, I wish Dennis was a little bit better with Scotty. We're seeing signs of them working well together. OG, they're best friends, but they don't always connect or exactly right, Scotty and OG. I've noticed that. And Pirtle and Scott, it's on and off. Sometimes they're very, very much connected, and they look good in a big man, two-man pick and roll. But sometimes also they're off. They're off a little bit. Yeah. Let's see. Jillian saying, Matt and Jack spoke about Scotty as a point guard. I thought of you. Scotty doesn't feel confident doing that 3 at the end of the last night, which he still bombed. Yeah, they straight up start him as point guard. They put in the graphic. Everybody's saying Scotty point guard, my Scotty point guard before the game. And I'm like, okay, I'm not in on this, but we'll go with it. And so, yeah, they did play Scotty at point guard last night. I'll admit it. They did very much start Scotty at point guard. But how long did he play point guard? Maybe for the first minute of the game. After that, he wasn't really doing the straight up point guard stuff as he did, because we saw the 2 things I said. He's going to turn the ball over, which he did almost immediately. The first play he tried to make was a ball that went out of bounds. And then second, how the hell is he supposed to score if he's doing all this energy to dribble the ball up, try and get around the small Boston guards, and score himself? How does he pass it to himself to get in the position down low to get the good position? That's why I keep telling y'all he shouldn't be the point guard. He needs to be a big forward, get down low and get his post position and get the entry pass and put the ball up over those little babies. One of the weird, interesting things about the game last night was, Boston's so small and they're very guard oriented. When we put Malachi in, finally, it actually was a breath of fresh air and we got better results from our defense. In some ways, Malachi, as much as I hate to say it, because he's the only one on our team, if we had somebody more like him, other than Dennis and Gary, and we had a little bit more guard depth, then we would need Malachi possibly for defensive purposes on small guards, because we saw that need once again. As much as you may need Jakob to handle a guy like Cornette, well, in some ways you need Malachi to handle little guys on the other side. And that was evident when we put Malachi in. He was a plus. He didn't score. He didn't try to shoot or anything, but he played excellent defense, and he was a factor in the minutes that he came in. So I'll give you kudos last night, Flynn. You played your role right. In fact, they showed you on the bench joking it up with Precious at one point, and it's like, I guess he's so loose, he doesn't think he's going to go in. Right? And I didn't think he would, but Darko man saw that, and he's like, well, you didn't expect this, Malachi. Well, here you go. You're going in now. And I want to see what you do. And Malachi showed that he was ready, and he came in and he contributed, if not with points, but with a good stellar defense and a change in the way that the Celtics were not able to play against us when he was out there. So kudos to Malachi for that. I've been very harsh on you lately, but you very much had a good role last night, and it very much helped us. Yeah. Let's see. Superfan saying 3 stars in the loss for her are Scotty, Pascal, and Jalen. Yeah, she's putting McDaniels in there. Instead, I put Schroeder in there for myself. But you can't go wrong. I think you could pick Jakob in some ways last night, even though he didn't have the best game. He had a double-double. He shot well. He played pretty solid overall. Let's see. G saying we'll focus on the good. Number 1, Scotty 3 is serious. Number 2, McDaniels, if he can be consistent, maybe a boost off the bench. He looked good with Scotty. And 3, Dennis steadies the second group. Yeah, these are all good points, G. And I think that the assists that Darko's garnering for our team is a good thing also. So we just got to turn the defense back on and play both sides of the court again. And we may be in very good shape in the second half. We do probably need a trade still and to shake things up a little bit. I think that Chris's calls in the Facebook chat for us to need more guards is a good one. I think he's right. That if we could get just a more straight up guard, a more capable veteran guard, and kind of take that spot from Malachi, just so we have more depth in that position, that might be smart. That might be smart at this point, Bobby Webster. Kevin Thompson saying Scotty really improved his 3-point shooting. 3s yesterday. 7 threes. Yeah, 7 threes. Fantastic stuff. The green light is on, and take them. But in some ways also, don't forget about going inside and beating up on little babies, especially when the opponent is a smaller team. Nako's here. Good to see Nako the Nacho, my good friend Gerald Mayhew. I love you, brother. Happy New Year's. All the best to you. To me, the Celtics aren't good because they have Tatum. They're good because they have depth. I don't love Scotty at point guard, but the roster needs to look different. Yeah. We need some changes. We're going to get them at some point. But there's a lot of good stuff happening. And, even though things are exactly like right now, there's a lot of signs that are pointing to good stuff happening. So I'm all about it. Yeah, I don't know. Tatum is annoying. In some ways, he's overrated. I saw the highlights before the game of the game against Detroit that they had the night before. And yeah, he missed some really wide open clutch shots at the end of that game. What a loser. In some ways, Jason Tatum is the most overhyped player in the NBA. In some ways, he's not any more than like Mikal Bridges or Pascal Siakam or a lot of different guys in this league. And he just gets so much hype that he just doesn't deserve, honestly. He's not on the same level as Embiid and Jokic and SGA and Luka. Those guys are on a different level than Jason Tatum, and they keep trying to put Tatum on the level with those guys. I don't agree with that at all. And also this stuff about Derek White being an all-star, this is stupid too. He's not a star. He's a boring player. He's very good fundamentally, and he has really good stats this season. I understand why people are making a case for it, but it annoyed me that Matt Devlin was pushing that narrative like the mainstream NBA down in the South, that Derek White should be an all-star. There's a lot of reasons why it annoys me. In some ways, we want Scotty to be an all-star. And if they have like 3 all-stars for the Boston Celtics, I'm going to be pissed if we don't have one. So screw Derek White being an all-star. In fact, I would say, Boston, you get 2 all-stars. Don't even try and be talking about getting 3 or even 4, because you're going to try and say that Porzingis is one too. Screw y'all. Y'all get 2 all-stars. That's it. That's it. And no Derek White being an all-star. That's ridiculous. He's so boring. He's not a star. To be a star, you have to have a cred, and you got to kind of carry yourself. And you say, that guy's a star. No, Derek White's a bald man that plays good fundamental backup point guard basketball. That's what he is. He's not an all-star. It's stupid. People say that. It's so dumb. All right, let's keep going. G's saying, I think with Gary, they defend him harder. No, he does get smacked. I don't think this is on purpose. He is the only shooting guard. This is why we need others. He is the only shooting guard that plays consistent minutes. Well, OG should be a shooting guard. Scotty can be a shooting guard. Even Siakam is kind of like a shooting guard. It doesn't matter. It's the height thing. It's the only thing that depends on this is if you're looking at the height, G. To me, the shooting guard isn't even a position anymore. The leagues are so tall now. And that, people that were like normally forwards back in the day are now shooting guards. So I don't know. I'm not giving Gary this. You can see this yourself. But I don't think anybody's playing him any harder than Siakam or Scotty. And that this is kind of a cop-out. I appreciate you and I love you, G, but I'm not going to get with you on this one. Kevin Thompson saying, what are we paying Pascal this offseason? $45 million? I don't know. I read that Grange article. It said that he turned down the extension that we offered him last year and that it wasn't the right one. Now, I know why he turned it down last year is because he wanted to go for all NBA and get a higher max, but he didn't get it. So now, I don't know. He's in a weird place, and that deadline's today. So we'll have to see if we hear any news about Siakam today, because that deadline is today. And if they don't do it today, well, he's on our team for at least 6 more months, y'all, is what I'm hearing. And I'm all about that. That'll be very interesting. So if we don't hear any news, that means Siakam's on our team for at least 6 months, y'all. So, hey, there you go. We're not trading him. So if we hear something today, it may be more likely that we're trading him. So no news is good news in some ways, at least to me. To other people, that may not sound like it's good news. I don't know what the number is going to be, Kevin Thompson. I'm not going to speculate on the number. G saying Pritchard was guarding Pascal and they did not pass him at times. That's not all coach. Players need to recognize the mismatch. This involves IQ. Yes. And yes, this is a lot what I was just talking about earlier about not recognizing Siakam and getting the ball to him when he has a really favorable matchup. And that was often early in the game. And that's why I was saying that like Darko was expecting the bigs to be down there. So maybe they had a whole game plan that was not going to do that, but they should have gone right to what you're describing right away. The recognition of the mismatches, whether it's Scotty, OG, Pascal, Jakob, whoever, needs to be gone to. We're going to have a mismatch every single night we play. We play with 4 forwards, 3 forwards and a center and a guard. There's going to be a second guard somewhere that's going to be a mismatch. We need to find it every single time down the court and just really get perfection at executing towards that smaller mismatch, whoever it is at any given time, whether it's whichever guy on our team against whatever guy on their team. You bully the little guy, whoever that matchup is on the way down the court. It's real easy to figure out who to give the ball to. You just find out who the mouse in the house is. Yeah, I'm all about that. And you're right, G. The coach can tell them this, but he wasn't even garnering an approach to this game in the beginning that was going to do this. And he's doing it on the fly. And that's part of the problem here. Chris is here. MSJ is here. That was a cool picture of you and Michael Jackson in the chat. Was it an AI picture, though? Tell me the truth, Chris. Was that a real picture of you with Michael Jackson as a kid? Or did you AI a picture together with you and Michael Jackson? I don't know. In some ways, I need to maybe look at it closer because it was very impressive. If you met Michael Jackson like that, hey, that's pretty cool. I hope he was nice to you. You know what I mean? Ooh. MSJ saying Celtics are the most complete team in the NBA. OKC rising, and the lesser squad is still so good. Good effort by the Raps, but Raps aren't so far off. Koloko, Dick, new guard in the future, not Fat Gary. See, there's the Fat Gary stuff again. The thing about the Celtics is, and this is what they said after the game, is that this team is a very good 3-point shooting team from their bench. You got Pritchard and Hauser on there, and those guys bomb threes like crazy. And if we're not good at guarding threes, it doesn't matter if some of the main Celtics are not out there. They're going to be like really good with their backup guys bombing threes like they do. This is an interesting game last night. In some ways, I'm going to chalk it up to a great, strong effort by the Raptors for a quarter. Other than that, the offense was okay and clicking, but the defense was absolutely horrible. So it's missed free throws and not playing defense. That's why they lost last night, and not knowing how to win games that are close at the end of the game. That's part of it too. All right, let's keep going. Kareem is saying, I'm going to need more of that sauce, bro. You're going to need more of that sauce. Oh, from MSJ, the marinade. Yeah, that pineapple marinade, man. I'm telling you, yeah. Chris is also saying, to clarify, I don't think Gary is fat, but he seems to have heavy legs. I like quicker guards personally, like a Jaden Ivey. Gary, to me, is too one-dimensional due to his lack of pep. It's just him. Yeah. He's saying that to you, Chris. He wants more marinade, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree that he needs more pep, that he needs more get up and go, that he needs to seem like he's more awake. Maybe he needs to get that alarm to go off louder and maybe not hit snooze button so much. Because in some ways, I feel like that's what's part of the problem. He's just a step slow. He's not as aware. He's not as on it. That steal was telegraphed and really nice, but it was in some ways to make up for the missed free throw and just other stupid stuff. I don't know. In some ways, Gary infuriates me right now. I see other teams, players like Hauser, hit open shots and like it's nothing. It's easy. And I wonder why he can't do it. I really do. I wonder why Gary can't hit open shots in the game. He can do it before the game. Trevor saw him. Raymond Jacob is here. Guys, let's see. Good morning. I got so sad and cried a little when Boston had 5 white guys on the court laugh out loud and were kicking our ass. Even Svi was smoking us. I didn't pay attention to that there were that kind of lineup out there for them. I got sad a little bit when I saw Delano in the Boston jersey. When Svi was out there doing stuff, it didn't really bug me. He was still the same. He had a couple of bright spots, but he missed shots, and he didn't look like a great player either. I mean, I don't know. Last night's game didn't make me sad. In some ways, I'm getting tougher to not getting sentimental and weird about things. It's really hard seeing Nick coaching the Philadelphia 76ers. It's hard to see Fred having success with the Houston Rockets right now. But I'm happy for Fred. I'm not happy for Nick, but I'm happy for Fred. And, in some ways, that's part of me getting more of a cold, dead heart when I see things that have happened like this with our very good coach, Nick Nurse, that left, sabotaged his career with the Raptors. So in some ways, I'm just like being more numb to it, Raymond Jacob, more numb. But I'm happy to see you in the chat this morning, Raymond. Respect and love to an original Raptors freak, Raymond Jacob, my good friend. G saying, I think Scotty did the right play at the end because Drew was on him and a step back 3 could have failed badly, but he could have dunked or alley-ooped it to Pascal. Being clutch takes reps and time. Yeah. If that's anything we've learned with the process of people like DeMar and Pascal is being clutch takes time and it takes reps. Yeah. Listen, I think that's a cop-out, though, G, as far as what you're saying. I think that they had enough time because they had like 10 seconds, right? They did. It wasn't like they had to make a shot right away. They had some time to work it in and kick it back out. And they should have made a play design where they went to Siakam down low and let him collapse the defense because they're really scared of him like they did. They collapsed the defense to the paint, and Siakam needs to throw it out to Barnes. That's what that should have happened in that play. That play should have been drawn up that way. I mean, some people would have been telegraphing that, yeah. But if you do it the right way and you get Scott in the right sweet spot, boom, that's a money 3 and we win it. So I feel like that should have been the play that Pat Delaney and Jama and James Wade and Darko should have been talking about, is get Siakam as the decoy down low and get him to actually touch the ball down there. But he's so good at passing it out, get it to Scott. And before that 10 seconds is up, get Scotty to nail that 3. Boom, buzzer beater, win by 1 point, 3-point shot. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. I don't know. Instead of Scott just trying to one-on-one kind of field it out and then attack and go in the lane. Yeah, I mean, if he had made it, it would have looked nice and we would have tied the game. And it may have been an and-1 even possibly. And he could have maybe won the game on an and-1. But that's not what happened. They missed it. And even Siakam got a second shot and he missed it too. Monique is saying, we will beat the Pistons. We will beat the Pistons. We will beat the Pistons. She's doing like the NBA champions 2024, Toronto Raptors, NBA champions 2020. Yeah, listen, I want to believe this so much. And I do. I do. Tyler Ford, you're a friend. I like you, Tyler. I like you, Mitchell. I like you, John. You guys are cool refs. And yeah, I like all the Raptors fans going to jump across the border and go to Detroit's arena today, too. Nako's saying, got to go with the Nuggets as the most complete. Okay. That's Nako's opinion. The Denver Nuggets most complete team in the league. I don't mind that. I like that. I'll get behind that. MSJ saying, I think on the road, you draw up a game-winning 3 to win the game. Don't go into overtime on the road in Boston, of all places. And yes, Dennis was great. I thought OG was invisible, just me. Yeah, that's what Jack said. That's Coach Armstrong. That's what I was thinking too. It's like, no, y'all are only down by 2. Take this game. Try and win it right at the end. Live and die with the 3 at the end. So in some ways, it's a fail. Just like before, when Scotty took that 3 and his foot was on the line, that wasn't really good planning or execution and clutch moments to make sure you win. Because like even if he had made that shot, it would only count it for 2, and they needed 3 in that position. That's what I'm saying. He needs to line it up and understand the situations better and the protocol for what he needs to do in the last second play better. Like he should have took a 3 last night instead of going the lane, and vice versa. In some ways, I wish he had taken a 2-point shot instead of, or no, he should have taken a 3 in that situation too. But he didn't know where his feet were, and he shot a 2-point shot that wouldn't have won us the game. So it's like that's a fail. Both are fails because of the decision making in the last second shot. So let's see. You thought OG was invisible. All right, let me look at OG's box score. We're going to see what he's doing. 5 of 8. That's good shooting. Maybe not shooting enough shots. 2 of 4 from 3. He did have a couple of threes, which was very welcome. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, +4, 12 points in 37 minutes. I would have liked him to have scored more, Chris. I feel like he played better defense on Jalen near the end of the game, but in the beginning, he did not find him soon enough, and he allowed him to go off. So I would say that. I'd say maybe OG's defense wasn't as good for most of the game, but he did turn it up near the end. So that's kind of my critique of him right there. Trevor's saying the camera didn't want it to be on us because it was too many of us. Yeah, they wouldn't show Trevor J and his crew because if they're all wearing Raptors jerseys and they're all in the crowd, they're not going to show that part of the crowd because they are trying not to show just how many Raptors fans were in the TD Garden last night. There were a lot. I saw all kinds of kids wearing Raptors jerseys, Barnes jerseys, Van Vliet jerseys, old Raptors, Vince Carter, dinosaur jerseys. They were all sprinkled all around the arena. And I'm sure Trevor J saw them too from the inside. Yeah, they wouldn't show Trevor J's crew because that was a Raptors strong row in the TD Garden last night. That's right. Yes, MNJ. Yes, from Kareem. And Wayne Strainer's here. Let's see. If your theory is correct about our defensive philosophy, why hasn't translated into OG having more energy to attack? Okay. Hang on, it jumped. I want to read the rest of it. OG is missing similar to Gary Jr. That's a problem. Yeah, I wonder about this also because it does seem like OG turns it on and off. He's not as consistent. It could very well be the losing is wearing him down. If we're winning and we're going better, it's easier for him to get revved up and play to his full potential as a defensive player. This is something Cool Cat has brought up before with OG, that it's like, if we're going to be like this, why should he bust his ass and try so hard? And this may very well be part of how he feels about it, that in some ways he's seen the regression of our team this year. And he's like, well, why should I work so hard if we're going to not even win? That's part of the problem with losing is people start feeling like, well, what's the point? And they don't put as much effort in. And OG may be the best example of this. Yeah. Well, you guys do this at your own risk, Gary and OG, because y'all's the decisions about y'all's careers are coming up. And the Raptors need to make decisions about whether they want to invest in y'all. If you're trying to give them an easier decision by not playing up to your highest ability, well, it may be the decision you don't want. Slug Deezy's here. Good to see Slug Deezy once again. This is a year of assessment. Guaranteed next year we will have a 60 to 70% new roster. These guys are placeholders for the new Vision Raptors. I'm not going to disagree with this. I think Slug Deezy's pretty accurate. I think that we will see some turnover in the next year coming up, especially possibly around trade deadline, maybe in the off season, a lot more also. Yeah, I'm all about it. I'm all about kind of renewal, especially with players that just aren't hitting the right notes on the piano. Yeah, Fun Guy's here. Good to see Fun Guy. They didn't have Bojan last the game. Please pay attention to him, Raptors. Don't let him set the tone with his three-point shooting. Yeah, this is a good point. When we played this Pistons and set our franchise record for assists, which never got treatment on Open Gym, by the way, you jerks, Open Gym, not paying attention to a Raptors franchise record for their team, getting the most assists in their record of their franchise, and y'all didn't even give it the Open Gym treatment. Fail, Open Gym, fail. Yeah, they didn't have Bogdanovich in that game, and this is somebody that we need to be aware of for today. That we have a problem with maybe not getting to all the three-point shooters correctly. Well, let's key on Bojan Bogdanovich. Definitely look out for him. Fun Guy, great key to the victory. Let's not forget this guy's playing this time. He wasn't playing the last time. We need to watch out for him. Also, Joe Harris. He's another one that's on that team that they could utilize and bring into the game. Joe Harris, three-point shooter. Somebody we need to find also. I could see him being a dangerous person too. Let me take a water break real quick. Monique's saying, I'll just go back and forth with the 905 game, but let's be honest, I ain't watching. Well, Mo, you don't need to go back and forth. They're at opposite times. The 905 game is at 2 p.m. and the Raptors game is at 6. So you can watch them right in a row if you want to. So 2 p.m. Wisconsin Herd at the Raptors 905, Mississauga Paramount Fine Food Center, 2 p.m. start. And Raptors at Pistons, 6 p.m. start. Eastern times. There you go. So, yeah, you can watch both games, Mo. You don't have to choose this time. That was just the other night that they happened to be playing at the same time. Jillian saying, Lex, Sixers just lost without Embiid. Maxey is lost without him. That's not what happened last night. That is not what happened last night. I saw that Nick Nurse and the Sixers pulled off a close victory against the Houston Rockets last night, 131 to 127. Fred VanVleet had a lot of threes, but he did not have enough to beat his old coach and the Sixers with Maxey. So they may have lost the game before, but last night they won without Embiid against the Rockets. Most saying Jalen is way better than Jaden. That's not true. Not yet, at least. Jaden McDaniels is a starter and actually plays a lot for the Timberwolves, and he does more refined things than Jalen. Jalen's catching up. He's the older brother than Jaden, but Jaden is the better one still right now. So I'm going to respectfully disagree with the superfan on this one. Let's see. Stargate saying, man, do they ever hate positive Raptors fans in spaces? They come at Blackhawk and Cool Cat hard just for having a positive outlook. It's mind-boggling how negative some of these fans are in spaces. That's sad. I hate hearing that. And, Blackhawk and Cool Cat do not deserve that energy. They are great people. They are fantastic people. In some ways, if that's a cesspool and you go in there, maybe you're just going to be around cretins and idiots. And that's part of the reason why I'm really not interested in going in there. In some ways, I tell myself, do I really need that negativity? Do I really need to be around those people? We got this safe space here. Anybody who's there that's like Cool Cat and Blackhawk and agrees with them and are like-minded like us, you come here and be with us and don't be in Zazu spaces. That place is crazy. And in some ways, it's full of a bunch of kindergartners that don't know jack shit about life or basketball. And they're just like little miserable people. And I don't even understand who they are. If I saw them in real life and I talked to them about the Raptors to their face, I bet you they act real different. Trust me. Oh, yeah, they would. If they saw me in real life, old 6'4" Lex, and saying, look, what are you for this team or not? And listen, I would plainly state it to them with facts towards their face. And maybe they would come around and stop being so negative. In some ways, what these people need is not Raptors related. It's life related. They need to understand how to live a better life and a better perspective on life and just be happier. Some of these people, when they talk to you about the Raptors, they're not talking about the Raptors. They're talking about their outlook on life. And if they're so negative and sad, they're miserable fucks. And you can tell that, man, how are you in your regular life? This is sad. You're pathetic. And I really hope you get help. That's what I would say to these people, because that's what you got to understand. Half the time that people that act like that, it's not about the Raptors. It's about themselves. And it's about their life. And they're miserable. They're miserable in their own life. That's really what it is. Seriously. Cool Cat and Blackhawk, much respect for y'all going in there, even though, and those people can just F off. Honestly, y'all got your space here, and those spaces, people, they can be toxic as hell on their own, in their own toxic dump, is what I would say right now. G saying, I say that about Gary because he was hustling. 2 steals, hustle plays. It's a contract year. There's no reason to sabotage himself by sabotaging other. Well, I'm just looking at all the options because seriously, when he missed that first free throw, he was very glib about it afterwards. And it made me start thinking, like, did you do that on purpose? He's like, oops, sorry. He was kind of like doing this after the missed free throw, the first one. And it made me start rolling things in my head. It made me start thinking about bricks and air balls and, not handling the ball correctly. I mean, let's look at Gary's stat line. Let's break it down real easy here. 29 minutes. He played 30 minutes. He only made 2 shots, y'all. He made 2 shots in 30 minutes, 2 of 10, 6 points, 1 of 4 from 3, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He gave us 1 3 the whole night. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, no turnovers, a -10. In fact, Gary was the worst plus minus on the whole team, guys. He was a -10. Jakob was a -9. Yeah, that's really, really bad. That may have been one of his worst games this season, and he started. So, okay, Gary Trent, people want him to start. Okay, I don't mind him still starting, but to be honest, you know what I'd like to see Darko do? Don't start Gary today. Start Chris. Start Precious. Don't bring Dennis back. Leave Dennis in the second lineup because that is working and that's smart. No, elevate Precious. Put Precious in the starting lineup or put Chris, one of those 2 guys, or maybe even Jalen. Jalen's been playing better now. Kick Gary out of the starting lineup and put one of those other bench guys in because it's honestly, you're not getting what you should get from Gary. I would much rather reward either Chris, Precious, or Jalen with starting instead. Yeah, and I'm not against the idea of not starting Pirtle and starting Precious instead of him also. I'm into this kind of idea just to experiment and see what works better. So there's a couple different things I'm more willing to do at this point because of our losing than I was at the beginning of the season. Benching Pirtle for Precious is one of them. Benching Gary for either Chris, Precious, or Jalen is another one of them. Even Otto. You could start Otto Porter Jr. at shooting guard, and you would do better than Gary Trent right now. Gary got sat near the end of the game for Jalen McDaniels. Yeah, they benched Gary Trent Jr. to put in Jalen McDaniels. Boy, how things turn in just a week. It's crazy. It's crazy. Blackhawk saying, it's okay, Stargate. I got thick skin. Besides, I never follow the crowd. There you go. Neil is a badass. Like, in some ways, Neil is like a Stone Cold Steve Austin to me. Yeah, he's going in, don't trust anyone. He's going in there and he's just gonna clean house, just like Stone Cold would. That's right. That glass breaks, and it's Neil coming into Zazu spaces. Wow! I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. We're giving Blackhawk a dunk for fighting the good fight in the trenches. He's in them trenches. I'm telling you, man, he's in them trenches with them. And in some ways, he's braver than me. I wouldn't want to do it. I would not want to do it. I mean, I should come in there and reinforce you guys. But in some ways, I'm like, what is the point? It's almost like the ship is sinking with that space so bad with the water coming in. It's like, I can't bail it out fast enough is the way I would feel about it. But man, you are a badass. You are the Stone Cold Steve Austin of Raptor Freaks, Blackhawk. You truly are. Let's see. Space Cadet saying it's hard to take any positives from the game where Boston is basically playing their backup squad. Now, see, let's not downgrade it like that, Space Cadet. They're still a very solid team. Jaylen Brown is a superstar, and they had most of their team other than 3 guys. We haven't seen Horford a lot in recent years when they play us. In fact, he's a matchup advantage for us. So they hide him. He mysteriously becomes hurt whenever the Raptors are playing him. Have you noticed? Have you noticed that like Horford misses the Raptor games pretty often? Tatum and Brown, that switch, that's normal. And look, it's not like it's any different than what's happened all year. They do this when they have back-to-backs. Tatum plays one game, Brown plays the other. And so you could say this, but the Boston Celtics have done this consistently. And they've beaten other teams with half their team or backup squad, as you put it. It's not their backup squad. I mean, I get it. Sam Hauser started, Cornette started. It looks like a little bit of a backup squad. But in a lot of ways, this is something they've been doing all year already. And this isn't just specifically to the Raptors. They will do this on back-to-back situations. They will rest main guys, and they will have success still. So don't feel like we're any special. Other teams in the league got beat by the Celtics with missing superstars also. Chris is saying, watch the Celtics stream, and Mike Gorman, covering them since '81, said several times that if Scotty Barnes can't shoot the three as he did as a point guard, he's gold in the NBA. Said his shot isn't pure, but good enough. Yeah, okay. Him and Scalabrine, I don't give a shit what they have to say. Seriously, people are gonna say whatever they're gonna say. He's gonna be a superstar. He's gonna be a badass. Watch. Stargate saying the last play of the game, it should have been Pascal coming up, setting the screen for Scotty. Scotty was calling for the screen for at least 3 seconds. The play developed late. Yeah, that was Dennis that was supposed to come up, and he kind of came at a weird angle, and he didn't give him a full screen, and Scotty kind of came around him and came into the lane. Yeah, something wasn't right with that whole play. In some ways, also, these guys have to learn to trust each other a little bit better and play more in sync with each other. That's what really good teams do. Like the opposite side, the Celtics have it really down to a T, exactly where the blocking and everybody's supposed to go where and what with what timing. In some ways, the Raptors are still not totally on the same page. And as a lot of the players have said in interviews this season, we're still learning to trust each other and be there for each other. And that's part of the problem is that they don't have a lot of time trusting each other or playing together in success that they get to good successful things. The Celtics do. And that's the difference between building a culture and keeping a team together for a while is that they get to know each other and trust each other better in clutch situations. But yeah, this was a problem. In some ways, Scotty was calling for something, and somebody wasn't there. I don't know if it was Dennis. I don't know if it was Pascal. MSJ saying Gorman has seen it all, a true elder statesman. No, it's a real pic of me and MJ. Okay, so that's a real picture of you with Michael Jackson. How did this happen? That you got to meet Michael Jackson as a young child, like Macaulay Culkin? Like, really, seriously? And did he, like, seriously, did he give you any Jesus juice? That's the only thing I'm wondering now. Is like, seriously, I hope nothing weird happened with you and Michael Jackson, Chris. I mean, I heard the allegations. I don't want to believe them because I do really love Michael. And I understand that Michael had a very troubled childhood under Joe Jackson and the Jackson Five, and that was part of the reason why he grew into the infantile man that he was. But still, I got to worry for you with the allegations that were against him that you were around him as a child, Chris. So this is a really weird left turn in the chat today because Chris shared a picture in our Raptor Freak Facebook chat last night of him with Michael Jackson as a child. And I'm wondering about this, Chris. I want to know more about this. You paid for college after the lawsuits? Okay, I guess that's our answer right there. He paid for college after the lawsuits. No, he's just joking. I will bring more sauce next time. Okay, he's going to bring more marinade next time we do a meet and greet, guys. So you can get that MSJ marinade, the Raptor Freak barbecue sauce, the great label that he made. So awesome, Chris. So awesome. Yeah, that's such a weird picture. And I don't mind talking about it on this channel because it's honestly very, very interesting. I'd like to know more about the circumstances of how you came about meeting Michael Jackson, is what I want to know. G saying, I still think it was the right play from Scotty. Pascal wasn't in a great position from what I saw, and Scotty had to improvise. Seeing Stargate's comment, maybe miscommunication was a factor. Yeah, I think it was. Miscommunication, a little bit of confusion. I don't know. In some ways, I wish that they would just be such a good team that they can execute a specific play for the specific amount of points that they need to get. Now, I don't care. Like, it shouldn't have been an option to go for 2. They should have been only looking for a 3, and they should have really, really like passed it around like they were earlier in the game to get to that open shot. There are a few plays where they really passed around and they found the open shot and the right person, and they nailed the 3. Now, I know we're not a very good 3-point shooting team, but Scotty at the clutch, if you free him up and somehow design a play, Darko, to give him an open 3 in that last second shot, I like his chances of making it. But that didn't happen. They didn't execute it that way. And that's a problem. In some ways, I want to see better team execution together as a unit. And I think that that's a big part of it. Slug DZ saying Raptors need to replenish the front office. Losing Jeff Weltman to Orlando really started our downfall. Looking at Orlando's roster, he probably had a big influence on the talent we brought in. You build from the top down. Slug DZ, I'm going to protect Masai. I'm going to say Masai Ujiri is untouchable. The team president does not go anywhere. But I am open to firing Bobby Webster. If there's really going to have to be a fall guy for the front office, we can fire Bobby. And I'd like to hire Teresa as the front office general manager afterwards. Teresa Resch, if she wants to be the GM, even though she's inexperienced, she's a very smart person, and she's very, very good at talking to people and getting things to happen. So in some ways, I don't know. In some ways, I get what you're saying, but who do we get in some ways? I don't want to fire Masai. There's no possible way Masai Ujiri leaves this roster, this team president, vice president. But Bobby Webster, he can be a sacrificial lamb in this. But I'm not getting rid of Masai. You will protect Masai Ujiri at all costs. If the fall guy is Bobby Webster, the fall guy will be Bobby Webster. But otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, that's how I stand on the front office. If you want to get a new general manager, that's fine. But we ain't going nowhere near our vice president. All right, seriously, because he's got the winning drive and the vision, and he's been leading this team in success for 10 years now. And some people keep conveniently forgetting that. I know it's not successful right now, and some people will say, "Well, it's not successful right now." Yeah, but do you want somebody who's going to get us back to successful easier because they have a proven track record of getting us to success? Yes. And that's what I'm saying. In some ways, it's like I said, you see what happens when Nick leaves. There's a certain track record and thing that he had with him. And Masai has it at the front office level. And in some ways, Raptors fans are smart. They will protect him and keep him around. If we really need to fire somebody from the front office, I'm okay with firing Bobby Webster. But that's in getting a new GM to do things instead. But otherwise, no, we ain't touching anybody. And that's an interesting point about Jeff. Jeff has gone to Orlando and done a very good job with building the team. And in some ways, some of the stuff he's done down there is interesting. But see, Jeff was never our GM, though. He was an assistant GM the whole time he was here. He was never the GM. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure Bobby Webster was the GM the whole time while Jeff was here. So Jeff was working under Bobby Webster. So I don't know. It's hard to figure that out. Was Jeff Weltman the actual GM for a little bit? Maybe. I think he maybe was. But I'm pretty sure he was mostly not. Let's see. David's here. Good game, boys. Good game. All right, back to bitching. David's so weird lately. David. You're cool. I love you. Get your cookies out. Dana's saying Goran Dragic, Mr. Higher Ambitions, is retiring. Oh, is that the news of the day? The Dragic retired a year too late. Trevor's saying, we're going for 70 to go to LA back-to-back games. I hope we have it. Okay. Yeah, that's right. Trevor's going to be getting 70 people to be at the 2 LA games on the road for the Raptors against the Lakers and the Clippers coming up in January very soon. We're about to hit the road. We're going to come back after the game against Detroit tonight and play the Cavaliers in Toronto on New Year's Day. And then, boom, we're hitting the road for like 10 games straight. And we're going to be at Crypto for 2 games in a row, back to back. And Trevor Jay's going to be at both games with 70 Raptors fans in that building. Holy crap, Trevor Jay. How do you get all these people all over the place, all over the country? You're in Boston last night, and now you're going to be in LA for the Laker game for the Raptors too? You go, Trevor Jay. Holy crap. Raptor Freak MVP of the year this year for sure. Holy cow. Stargate saying that, gee, it was the right play. It just wasn't executed with the right players in the right positions within the play. But the play itself was the right play. Well, that's if you're okay with going to overtime. That's all I'll say on that. In some ways, I agree with Jack and other people in this chat that have said you go for 3 on the road if you can get a winning situation. You live and die with that 3. And in some ways, that's not what they did. G saying, I would start Otto if Dennis is coming off the bench to see that look. Yeah, what if we had Scotty, Otto, OG, Pascal, and Jakob in the starting lineup for a little bit? It's like upgrade Gary with Otto Porter and see what he would do. I would say start Chris Boucher and put OG at the 2 and put Chris and Pascal and Jakob up front. I mean, I want to try different stuff. Maybe we do need to trade for another guard. And maybe that guard is so good they can start and make a lot of things better for us in our starting lineup. I don't know. I'm open to all kinds of suggestions. The little box at Wendy's has got cards. You can fill them out, put them in there, customer cards, and tell me what you think. That's what these comments are. That's right. Wayne's saying, we continually start games super cold. We have got to solve that. Fighting back from being down 10 to 15 points is not easy. When we solve that, a lot of our issues will get solved. Yeah, it's just consistent defense more throughout the whole game. And yeah, sure, if they make their open shots, that'd be great. That was a big, huge difference between the Celtics and us last night, is that they made their shots and we didn't. Yeah, I mean, let's go look at the team stats real quick for the game last night. Let's break it down real quick. They shot better than us, 49%. We shot 46%. We did get 7 more shots, field goal attempts than they did, and we made 1 more field goal than them. Free pointers, we made the same exact amount of threes as them, but they took 5 less threes. So they shot 44% from three. We shot 39. So the threes weren't totally horrible, except for Gary. Free throw shots, really bad. That is where it looks like we lost. We both had 20 free throws as both teams, and they made 4 more points off free throws than us. And boom, that's the difference right there. 13 free throws made out of 20 for the Raptors, 65% at the line. That's horrible. And then meanwhile, they only missed 3 free throws where we missed 7. That's a 3-point loss. Yeah, that's the math right there. Free throws. Free throws is a real easy place to see the difference in the two teams. They shot 85% of the line. We shot 65. We didn't play defense for 3/4 of the game. Boom, we lose by 2. It's crazy. They out-rebounded us, which is ridiculous considering we had the size advantage in this game. 52-38. How the hell does that happen, Raptors? Have some pride. Out-rebound a smaller Boston team. The assists were the same, 29 for both teams. We had more steals and blocks than them, 16, and they had 9. The turnovers were fantastic. I didn't want to jinx anything at halftime. I was going to say the Raptors only have like 4 turnovers at the half, and that's really good. And they only got 1 in the second half. 5 turnovers the whole entire game by the Raptors. That was really impressive, honestly, because Boston does have a really good defense, and normally they would be turning us over. So I'm really happy about them taking care of the ball last night. Points in the paint, we got beat at that. See, that's another sign that things aren't right. The rebounds aren't right, and the points in the paint aren't right. How did they get 4 more points in the paint on us in the game? Cornette, okay, well, why weren't we beating up on Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, and the rest of the little Boston Celtics? That's the problem. So there was food on the table that we can go take from working down low. We should have beat them on rebounds and points in the paint last night. We should have shot better free throws, and we should have had a better defensive effort throughout the whole game. There you go. There you go. Slug DZ saying, add to the brain trust. Don't fire anyone. Okay, so you don't want to fire Bobby. You're not saying fire anybody. You just want to bring in a new superstar like Jeff Weltman to be with the team and hopefully reinvigorate ideas and brainstorming for how the front office what they should do. All right, Slug DZ, respect. And I like that you didn't want to throw anybody on the bus. I was just saying, if we do, that's who I want to throw under the bus first because I want to protect Masai. Mugarbe saying, good morning, Raptor Freaks. Stop it. Scotty should have passed the ball. Go watch the tape. Pascal was under the rim. I think ego take over Scotty because he wants to be the man so bad. This is an interesting point by Mugarbe. So he sees the situation as Siakam was open and he could have took the shot, but Scotty was selfish and he went in himself. That's interesting. That's interesting. That may be right. I don't know. I have to watch the replay. Maybe Mugarbe sees something that I didn't see. Either way, I just want them to execute. And I do still think that the 2-point shot was not the right decision. I think that they should have been trying to get a 3. Monique is saying, awesome streams. Despite the outcomes, we support one another. There you go, Mo. In some ways, that's right. We are powerful and strong no matter if we win or lose, if we stay together and we keep this community going no matter what. And that's what I intend to do. 2024 is going to be a fun year. It's going to be a year of transitions in all kinds of ways. Transitions for the basketball team, transitions for this channel. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what's to come in the coming new year. I love you, Monique, and thank you so much for your support. And in turn, I support you also. Wayne saying, not very astute to put Bobby's head as a sacrifice. The job is about relationships, and Teresa, to my knowledge, hasn't built up those relationships as yet. So that's a fail. Do trades instead. Well, Wayne, I don't want to fire Bobby. I'm just saying if the pitchforks and torches are really clamoring, and they really needs to be a sacrifice to that altar of bullshit, that's who I want to sacrifice. Now, I will say this in Teresa's stead. She has worked for the NBA for like 25 years, and she knows a lot of people in the NBA. She's an insider. Plus, she's very astute. She's one of the smartest people in the Raptors organization. Now, she started as kind of a do-it-all kind of person for them, kind of just taking care of everything. In fact, the success of the move to Tampa was largely on her. She did all the legwork of making sure that we had this, whether it was that beautiful van, that beautiful bus that we drive around in Tampa bubble, whether it was whatever it was. She's usually in charge of it. Now, more recent years, she has been learning the GM job underneath Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri. So she's learning it. Now, her contacts across the league are good. She does know a lot of people around the NBA, and don't underestimate her. In some ways, I think she is being groomed as possibly being a GM next. And knowing the forward thinking of Masai Ujiri and women in our organization, I wouldn't be shocked if Bobby does leave for whatever reason, that Teresa may get a chance. So I don't know. In some ways, we'll have to see how it all falls out. Once again, I will protect Bobby too. Don't get me wrong. But if it's going to be something like this where we have to sacrifice a front office person because of our failure, because the fan base is just so pissed off, I want it to be Webster. It shouldn't be Ujiri no matter what. Let's see. Duke Rocks is saying, can you imagine at the end of the game if OG made that three to tie the game, would the refs still call the foul? They didn't call the foul on OG. The foul was actually before that on the pass to OG on Siakam, and that's why he shot the free throws. No, I'm shocked that they actually stopped the game and actually kept the game going. It seemed like everybody's just going to walk out the court and the game was over. The Raptors were ready to, the Celtics were ready to. Well, the refs weren't. And that was very interesting move by David Guthrie to say, no, the Raptors are going to shoot free throws and give us another chance off of a missed free throw in the second one with a putback that could have tied the game and put it in overtime. So that was very interesting that the ref crew did that. Very, very interesting. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. That was very interesting. Duke Rocks, always good to see you, Jay. Let's see. Trevor J saying, because Lex, the job I do, I know a lot of people who work for the Raptors, but you guys will never know that because American sports analysts don't want us to know that. So wait, because the job I do, I know a lot of people who are for the Raptors. Oh, okay. So you're on the other side of the border and you're working in your world of the world, and you have people that are around you that are in the States that are Raptors fans also. That's fantastic. No, I know that we have a lot of fans all around the world, and we have a very good, strong fan base and a very loyal, awesome fan base. In fact, I was so heartened by seeing so many young people wearing Raptors jerseys at the Boston game last night. And them being in there and rooting for our team, that's awesome. In some ways, it's kind of like Scott rooting for Baltimore because his brother rooted for Pittsburgh. In some ways, sometimes there's rebels in cities. There are people in Toronto that won't root for the Raptors and root for everybody else against them. Well, there's people in Boston that probably do the same thing and start rooting for the Raptors, even though they live in Boston. It's just these kind of people that like to be adversary in their own territory. So I appreciate that, Trevor. And I'm glad that you're telling me that there are a lot more Raptor freaks and Raptor fans down in the States than advertised. That's awesome. I like that. Chris is saying, did I miss the idea of another meetup at the Real Jerk? I feel I will sing Teardrops by Womack and Womack. Laugh out loud. Well, no, Monique and I actually were feeling out the possibility of doing the next Raptor Freak meet and greet at the NBA restaurant where that guy was wearing the Boston green shirt. Yeah, we're actually thinking about using that venue. She scoped it out, and she thinks it would be a good venue for her to appear. So we may be doing it actually at the NBA restaurant the next time we do it. So we'll have to look into that. So it may not be karaoke. I mean, maybe you can stand up and sing anyway, Chris. Mugabe saying, Lex, correct me if I'm wrong. I think Darko is limiting Pascal the first three quarters and then get Pascal to work in the paint. But the fourth, we have him around the three-point line. Pascal draws a double every time. I don't know if it's that clear cut. You know, in some ways, I think that they are trying to go through Siakam, but in some ways, he just has a natural penchant to kind of fade in the woodwork. And I want him to be more upfront and demanding. And I like he has been recently. I've seen him doing a lot more like waving, give me the ball at Dennis. I've seen him being a lot more active and calling out to get the ball to him. So I like that. These guys need to listen to him and get him the ball. That man is a senior scorer on our team, and they should be feeding Siakam every time he wants a play. And I'm all about that. We'll have to see. I don't think there's any designation where Darko's saying, no, you're not going to give the ball to Siakam for this quarter. No, I think that it's wide open. He can do whatever he wants at any time. Let's see. MS Jason, I was too skinny a kid for Michael Jackson. He didn't like me. Haha. Man, you're kind of being gross. Now, I want you to be honest. You're being jokey. And I'd rather you be very honest about this interaction with Michael Jackson from your youth than be jokey about this, Chris. Can you just turn it off for 5 minutes and just give me the real deal, Holyfield, on your meeting with Michael Jackson when you're young? Because honestly, if you're going to be jokey like this, it's no good. I need to know how this came about for real and what happened and whatever. You don't have to tell me that much. It's just don't add to like the bullshit legend of him and the stuff with what happened, because in some ways that's part of why I'm asking you. I'd like to know if he actually did seem like he was going to do anything weird to you, than like you joking about it. So be honest, please, and don't be so jokey right now. I know you're just always not serious, but if you could be serious about the Michael Jackson picture for just now, I would appreciate that. Seriously. Duke Rocks is saying, my point was if we tied the game, the refs called a foul to take away a tied game to give Siakam 2 shots. Could you imagine how pissed Raps fans would be? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying, Duke. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I mean, the refs were on our side. They were definitely helping us in different ways. Boston fans were really mad. And David Guthrie was giving calls to us all the time. Like the one call where the challenge, the challenge was successful. I was calling it out. Oh, he's going to be unsuccessful. That's stupid because they obviously fouled Scott on that play when they hit him. But no, they said there was no contact. He'd already lost the ball and it was out of bounds, but it went out of bounds on the Celtics. So we retained possession anyway. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, Joe Mazzulla, you get the win, the challenge, but we get possession still. So what's the point of that? But then the second challenge, they very much went in our favor, and the crowd was booing the refs. And I was like, yeah, you go, David Guthrie and the crew. You guys are looking out for the Raptors and calling it down the line. That's what a fair ref crew looks like last night. That's the thing. Some of the refs are very good at their job, and they are the top officials in the world. And I trust them. Some of them are absolutely the best referees and officials in the entire world in all sports. But some of them are crooked as fuck. And some of them are not good and they do shady shit. But we saw a very down the line ref crew last night that actually called it fair both ways. Now, Celtics fans may argue with me on that, but they're used to seeing favoritism for their team. And that's the difference right there. See, G's saying so many games they could have won just by shooting the free throws well. Yeah, and the threes. It's honestly, in some ways, it's not the free throws. It's the three-pointers. They would win if they just shoot three-pointers more consistently better. The free throws help, but on certain nights they shoot free throws very well. On certain nights they just don't. And yeah, the threes are more crucial, if you ask me, because they're the firepower to keep you going. And free throws are, yeah, it looks ugly and it looks bad, missing 7 and the other team misses 3 and you lose by 2. But, the three-pointers would be, they're even more problem. Let's see. MSJ saying, I posted the real deal on Facebook. Relax, all good. And it was fine. Nothing to worry about. Okay, good. So when you met Michael, it was probably not for very long. And he just kind of took a picture of you. It's not like you went to Neverland Ranch and hung out with him and met Bubbles the chimp or went on the rides or any of that kind of stuff. You didn't get the Macaulay Culkin experience, right? Okay, I just want to know, man. I'm excited and interested because that picture is phenomenal and interesting. When I was a child, I listened to Thriller a lot. Like when I was a little kid, it came out on cassette and I would listen to it almost every day. And I knew that album so well. I still do to this point. I think I have the cassette still here somewhere in a box, my original Thriller cassette from when I was like 7 years old. So in some ways, it's a personal thing for me too, because I was a very big Michael Jackson fan as a kid, like many, many people were. So I'm just very curious about the story in some ways. David's saying, don't worry, be happy. Well, we have a Bobby McFerrin fan also. Pascal looked like KD out there with that jumper. Yeah, I thought Siakam looked very capable, and he was shooting a very good clip last night. Let's see. David's saying, Schroeder and Yak need to wake up. That's all. Yeah, I don't know. Those two guys, I can't really get mad at them. I mean, Cornette did kind of play circles around Jakob at the beginning of the game, and that was annoying. But and Jakob kind of went away from things by the end of the game. He wasn't really playing as much in the whole game overall. Cool Get saying, good morning, Rat Free Crew. I'm very late. Yeah, I'm at the end of the comments, and it looks like we're going to be done soon. You're saying 11:30? No, it's only 11:08. Jillian's giving me a cutoff, and I'm at the bottom already. All right, I guess I'll do the natural recap. Maybe we'll be done in 2 hours. All right, so once again, here we go. This is the injuries for the Pistons tonight in the Detroit Pistons game. Isaiah Stewart is out because of his toe. He's expected to miss at least 2 weeks. Monte Morris is out still. He was out the last time we played them too. So he's still out because of his quad. But the Pistons are overall pretty healthy. They're like a wounded animal in the corner, and they're very dangerous right now, Raptors. Do not underestimate them. They may be coming with a certain energy and force to really not be a part of history. And y'all need to match that. If you do not match that energy, you may be in trouble today. So make sure you do. Garrett Temple has been ruled out for the game last night, but he may be playing today. I don't know. He's still on the injury list. And Koloko is ruled out for today also. The referees for today's game for the Raptors are fantastic. We have for tonight, we have Tyler Ford as the crew chief. He favors the Raps, and very much does not favor Detroit. Mitchell Irvin is the second ref. He favors the Raps. And John Conley is the third ref. He favors the Raptors. All three refs are favoring the Raptors, and they're very, very good refs. The refs for the 9:05 game at 2 o'clock. There's a game in 3 hours, y'all. Claire Aubrey, Ken Jones, and JP Prim, Wisconsin Hurd visiting the Raptors 9:05 at Paramount Fine Food Center in Mississauga this afternoon, 2 p.m. start. So be ready for that. All right, tough game last night against the Celtics. They played tough, and you know what? They were very close. It was a respectable loss, even though it was just a 2-point loss, and there's some problems and things that could have gone the other way. We could have stolen and beaten the Celtics in their perfect home record. I would have loved that, but it wasn't in the cards. Totally there. 3 stars of the game for me are Siakam, Barnes, and Schroeder. I feel like they were my favorite 3 players last night. If you guys have a Yahoo Fantasy basketball team in our Yahoo Fantasy League, keep playing, keep plugging them in. Ahmet Gaming, I'm playing you this week, and I'm beating your butt. That's right, Ahmet. I'm putting you down in this week, the New Year's week, the Taint week. I'm beating Ahmet. That's right. So make sure you check on your team if you haven't in a bit and see how you're doing and see if you can make it get going very good. Jillian saying, Lex, Sixers lost the other night without Embiid, not last night. Last night I watched the Raptors. No, I'm only talking about last night. I know that they lost without Embiid the other day, but they just beat a talented Houston Rockets team without Embiid last night. And in Philadelphia won against the Rockets on their court. That's all I'm saying, Jillian. Yes, Maxey lost without Embiid is apparently normal. That's not totally true. You know that the Sixers are winning way more than they're losing, and even without Embiid, they're winning. So I'm just going by what happened last night. You're right that they lost a game earlier this week without Embiid, but they also won a game without Embiid last night too, and that's the game that's most recent. It was last night, and it was Nick Nurse and Tyrese Maxey beating Fred VanVleet and the Rockets in Houston. So I'm just keeping up to the most current of what happened. And I get it. Yeah, they lost. It's just silly to get all hung up on here. All right, I don't know what else to say, guys. I think I'm done. I can do the marquee main event matchup. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Little Caesars Arena here in Detroit. This is a match between the Raptors and the Detroit Pistons. Let's see who our combatants are. First, coming out for the visiting Toronto Raptors from Florida State, 6'10", from West Palm Beach, Florida. It's Scotty Barnes. And on this side for the Detroit Pistons, their rookie number 1 pick of the year from a couple years ago, best friends with Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham. And we are having today a one-on-one battle, a basketball. We're actually going to have a basketball battle today. We're going to see one-on-one. It's Cade versus Scotty. Who's the best player from their rookie year? Is it still the rookie of the year, Scotty Barnes, or is Cade coming back because he's the number 1 pick from that draft class? Is he going to show something more tonight? I'd like to see the head-to-head battle tonight with Scotty having the better stat line over Cunningham by the end of the game. In some ways, I want to see more of Scott taking on these kind of personal versus matchups. Like last night, it could have been you versus Jalen, Scott. And you're kind of thinking about, well, I want to match Jalen. I want to beat him by the end of the night. That's something that Jordan used to do. Well, you can play Reggie Miller. He'd be like keeping track of how much Miller had and how much he had. And he always wanted to outscore him. I want to see this from you, man. You got all these players that you like and people that you know around the league, like Jalen Green and Cade Cunningham. Why don't you take it upon yourself to personally go at them and beat their ass? I'd love to see you really personally try and have a better stat line than your counterpart, Cade Cunningham, as best as possible. You guys are best friends. There's a lot of love between y'all, but it'd be great to see you take that test and say, I'm going to beat my friend and I'm going to beat him personally by my stats being better than his. Because in some ways, I'm wondering about that gumption in you, Scott. Can you get up in that kind of way in your mind and say, well, I'm keeping track of what he's got. I want to get this amount to get more than him. Because in theory, my team will win if I score more points than my counterpoint part on the other side. That's something that Darko said at the beginning of the year, that the guys need to start thinking about, who's my matchup? Who am I going up against? And will I beat them in my matchup in the game? In some ways, I don't see the Raptors doing this enough. Thinking about my counterpart, like Jakob going against Cornette last night. Well, Cornette beat Jakob, but there are nights where Jakob comes up big and he beats somebody like Nikola Jokic in a game against him. So that's what I'm saying. I want to see these guys take on their matchups against each other and statistically beat them in the individual matchup within the team game and within the whole game to help it add up to us winning. Because I feel like that's part of the problem, is that the other team may have more different guys helping and contributing in winning ways, and we have too much dead wood on our team where these guys are not stepping up the challenge to beat their counterpart on the other side. So let's see if you can do this tonight. Scotty, Cade, you need to beat Cade Cunningham, Scotty. You need to beat Cade Cunningham tonight. And that's what I'm going to say about that right there. Yeah. Yeah. Trevor J saying, I went to the Jackson 5 concert and I met all of them backstage. So you met Tito? You met Tito and Marlon and Jackie? Yeah, that's awesome. Mo's saying, we will beat the Pistons. We will beat the Pistons. Oh, yeah, she's saying it. That's right, Superfan. Blackhawks agreeing. Jillian saying at Space Cadet, that's not true at all in a game where we lost by just one possession. Of course, there were positives. Yeah, there were positives last night. Nameless is saying we got gypped by the refs for sure, but we had ample opportunity to tie and win the game. Players underperforming and not executing is not on Bobby or Masai. Nameless, I'm going to disagree with you. The referees were fantastic last night. They did not hurt us. They were helping us. And I completely disagree that they ripped us off. And plus, I don't really like that term that you used. In some ways, it's a slur, and it's not nice because there are gypsy people out there. And, that's kind of a slur, just so you know. Jillian saying, at Trevor J, I met Pointer Sisters when we lived in Vancouver. They were awesome. Well, I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it, that Jillian met the Pointer Sisters. I think I like it. Whoa, whoa, yeah. It's automatic. I'm just burning a neutron dance. I'm just burning, doing a neutron dance. Nameless is saying, at some point, they must take a little ownership. You mean the players for what's happening? Yeah, I agree with that. Mugabe's saying, Lex, Darko's not learning. Last night I kept screaming at the TV, give Scotty and Pascal the ball. Well, like somebody said earlier, Mugabe, he can want them to do that, but if the other players are not doing it. In fact, I saw Jalen McDaniels making boneheaded moves while he was out there freezing out Siakam at times. Like he was taking the shot instead. So some of it's on the players on the court to find their leaders and get the ball to them. So that's what I would say. Darko's scheme is wanting these guys to get it. Don't get it twisted. It's the players on the court, whether it's Dennis, whether it's Gary, whether it's Malachi, whether it's Jalen McDaniels, in some ways they're freezing out those guys, and they shouldn't be. They should be not taking the shots themselves. They should be funneling the ball to Pascal and Scotty, is what I'll say. Kareem saying, we better win. Anywho, I'm going to hit the slopes and be back for the 905 game. This dude's hitting the slopes. You're skiing? That's cool, Kareem. I like that. Mugabe saying, if we lose today, I'm going to have a bad start of the new year. I don't want that from Mugabe. I want him to have a good start of the new year. I feel it too, man. In some ways, listen, let's just let the chips fall as they may. Let's see what this team is made of. In some ways, this is a task that they just need to take care of, what's in front of them today. Let's see if they fail or not. In some ways, it'll tell us something about them and how much they care about not being in the history books in a certain way. In some ways, this is a test for the Raptors' pride and how much they care about being competitive and what they care about. If they don't care enough, they're going to let this happen, well, then we're going to have to sit in it tomorrow. But if they care about it and they do something about it and they make a victory happen today, then we will have something good to feel about. So this is how we got to look at it, Mugabe. It's out of our hands. In some ways, it's the Raptors, whether they're going to have pride and respect for themselves to show up correctly today to stop a very, very dumb thing happening if they lose today. Yeah, we don't want to lose today. Jillian saying at Mugabe, apparently Pascal was yelling at players to give him the ball. Yes. Yeah, he was. I saw that too. And Blackhawk saying, you snowboarding, Kareem? That's cool. Whatever he's doing, man, he's hitting the slopes. That's cool. I guess there may be some snow out there. Let's see. Creams, Cool Cat saying, how did Blackhawk get up so early? I struggled to join Lex. See how we're fighting that good fight in the spaces late last night. Well, once again, kudos to y'all. Cool Cat, you're getting a dunk also because people came in here and told me the legend of y'all and they're fighting with people last in the spaces. And I appreciate y'all for doing that. Seriously, it's not easy to be a positive Raptors fan sometimes, and y'all are doing it in one of the most toxic places. So I have so much respect for you, Cool Cat, and for you, Blackhawk, also. Yeah, man, it's crazy. Let's see. Name is saying players missing wide open threes or layups. That's not Messiah in the press box. That's exactly right. I get behind my paisano on that one. And yeah, I'm with you. Protect Bobby and Messiah. I'm just saying if something has to happen, well, that's my contingency plan. Otherwise, protect the front office. I'm all about it. Don't get me twisted. I don't want either one of them to get fired. But if we really need to make it happen, we don't clean sweep. We just do the first guy that I said earlier. Cool Cat saying we moved away from Pascal. Scotty leading the offense. Bummer. Yeah, I don't know. Siakam was the best player to me last night. And in some ways, we should have been looking for him way more often throughout the game. Blackhawk saying, laugh out loud. Cool Cat's official name is now Miss 4 a.m. That's funny. That's funny. I didn't know y'all were up that late. Holy cow. Blackhawk, you're getting another dunk. You're getting a little strong dunk action here near the end, guys. There's a little bit of wiggle room. Kareem's won it, though. Nobody's going to get to Kareem. But yeah, you're getting a little bit of added on dunks right at the end of the calendar year. We'll flip it over at the new year, and it's 0 for all y'all once it's the 1st of January, just so you know. Norma's saying, I love seeing Norma's here live in the chat again. I agree the players don't seem to recognize when Pascal had a mismatch, even though he's basically demanding the ball. I also thought we did well when Pascal was running the point. Yeah. See, this is another thing that maybe I'm more behind. Let's make Pascal the point guard. And Scotty can be down low because Pascal has a longer track record of running point at this point, and he's much safer to be the point guard at times. And I in some ways, all right, if it's not going to be fully Pascal, a half and half timeshare between Scotty and Pascal bringing it down the court, and they alternate who's going to be the passer and who's going to be the scorer. I like that kind of arrangement in all kinds of ways. And I agree with Norma. I feel like Pascal, in some ways, I just feel more comfortable with him to be more fundamentally correct and not cause turnovers with some of his passes. You know, Scotty had that one pass he threw to OG and it was behind him. He kind of lofted it over to him and it wasn't very clean and it was kind of a quick pass and it did not get to OG. It went out of bounds. So these are kind of things I'm going to be paying attention to is assisted turnovers. These guys are going to be a point guards or point forwards. Well, assisted turnovers is the stat I'm going to be looking at. Let's see. Jillian's saying, I personally tweeted at the Raptors and Darko to rest Gary's plantar fasciitis. I'm sure of it. Yeah. You know what? I hope you get somewhere with it. Maybe they will. I don't know. If Gary doesn't start the game today, I won't be upset. I really won't. I know a few of y'all won't be upset either. Let's see. Cool Cat's saying, I hope Scotty and Pascal tested to get energy. Yeah, Lex, early on, I was fighting for Pascal's respect in spaces. I was bummed out. There's no reason why anybody should be going after Siakam last night. That's ridiculous. That just tells you. In some ways, y'all need to do this. Seriously, y'all need to just, when you find out the water and whether it's so toxic in those spaces with Zazu, you need to just kind of be like, you know what? There's no getting through to you people. You're idiots. We've got to understand some of those people in the spaces are like 7 years old. Some of them are like people that live in a basement and they're on a computer all their day, or some of them are just like really weird weirdos, miserable people. And like I said earlier, Cool Cat, you didn't hear this because somebody told me what y'all were doing last night. You got to understand a lot of those people, the way they talk about Raptors or the team is more of a reflection of how they feel about life and themselves. And that's ultimately the problem here. It's not about the team being bad. It's about them having a bad life and them just working it out through criticizing the team and being toxic. That's really, in most cases, what the problem is. So in some ways, when people are so toxic against Pascal, you need to maybe turn the other cheek. And I know you have in the past and say, you know, I feel so sorry for you that you are this miserable in your own life. You know, because in some ways, the things you say about the Raptors, they're not a reflection of them. At a certain point, the lens that you see them and perceive them through is more of a reflection of you. And that's the easiest thing to say to really toxic Raptor fans right there is that you're miserable. And the way you talk is more about your life and yourself and not actually what's going on with the team. Yeah, there you go. Much respect to Cool Cat and Neil. very much warriors in the spaces. Let's see. Jillian saying, "Oh, that's what the photo was." I was confused why Chris would want us to see himself, not Michael Jackson, of course. I would have looked at that, laugh out loud. Yeah, you were sending me a message. You're like, "Why are we looking at this picture?" Yeah, Chris. Chris is a valued Raptor freak who's been to a few of our get-togethers in person. I love Chris. He's one of the Mug brothers. He has a lot of legend in this Raptor freak family, and he wanted to cheer us up, I guess, after the game. So he wanted to show us a picture from when he was a kid, and it was a picture of him with Michael Jackson. And that was very weird. This is very weird. I thought it was photoshopped at first, but he says it's real. He's been messing around with AI too. Like I erased that AI thing that you put up, Chris, because I didn't like it. It's bad for the game. You can't post something like that with the score when we haven't played the game yet. You can jinx things. So that's why I erased your little AI photo of what you made on AI about the Boston game last night. I didn't like it because in some ways that's like, don't mess with the score. Don't do that kind of stuff, please. But yeah, that's what that picture was. Cool Cat was fighting until 4:45 a.m. Go get a nap after this. Holy crap. I can't believe you're doing double duty with us, the sunny side people and the morning side people, and not in the middle of the night with the cretins and cesspool of the sadness of Zazu spaces. Blackhawks got the thumbs up. And Cool Cat saying, Lex, no, Scotty has to be the main point guard and Pascal help him out. It's Scotty's development time. I can live with Scotty's mistakes. Yeah, I guess if we're going to lose a lot right now, let's go fully into the deep end and just let Scott run it like crazy. It may work out in the long run better. I can get behind that philosophy in some ways, but I still think that the double barrel point forward attack, which worked very well last year, can work very well this year. And in some ways, it eases the burden of Siakam or Barnes being the primary ball handler and just how much that expends for energy. In some ways, that's the biggest problem I have with him being the point guard is I don't want Scotty wasting so much time being hounded as the ball handler. I don't want him waste so much time trying to find shots for jabronis that are going to miss. I'd rather him get position, fight for position down low, and take the shots himself. That's just my own philosophy. Kareem's saying, I'm in Denver. Kareem's in Denver right now. That's right. That's right. That's why he's out there. He's at the snow. He's going to go skiing because he's in Denver. I keep forgetting that he's in Denver right now. He's not in Toronto because there's no snow up here. There's no snow. The hills around Toronto right now, it's man-made snow, and it's not good skiing here right now. Blackhawks saying the conversation was more civil after 3. After the little children went to bed finally. I'm sure that's what it was. Oh, little Johnny had to go to sleep because he's like so young. He got tuckered out and he's in his PJs with his little teddy bear now after he argued with Cool Cat and Neil all night. Yeah, the conversation got better after the children went to sleep. That sounds funny. Blackhawks saying, don't worry, Lex. Many of them are commenting without watching the game. I don't take them seriously. Awesome. Well, honestly, once again, the most main important point about what you and Cool Cat are doing is you guys are heroes. And I respect and love you so much for going in there and trying to educate people. Seriously. Blackhawks saying also they're so caught up trying to get everyone to think like them instead of entertaining multiple perspectives. Yeah, it's like I don't know what's going on there. That's so crazy. Jillian saying at Cool Cat, you'll upset Lex. Scotty is still more of a shooter than a leader. Nah, Cool Cat's fair. She's fair with that. I mean, listen, y'all shouldn't worry about upsetting me. Honestly, if I get upset naturally, that's just going to happen. And we see that happen on the channel. Don't worry about me getting upset. It's just part of this channel. In some places, some of the people come here to see me get upset because it's entertaining to them. We used to have it where people could come in and chat in the chat that aren't subscribed. And we'd have a lot more outsiders come in and try me and say all kinds of crazy stuff. And that was part of the entertainment value, Jillian, was to see me cuss somebody out. Now I'm not really on that tip anymore because we're in a bad place. And so I'm making the comments only for subscribers right now. And partly for my own time to shorten the stream, but also because I don't really have a leg to stand on to argue for the Raptors against our detractors and negative naysayers. In some ways, it's not a fight I want to continue to keep doing. So I'm just keeping them out for right now. And I'd rather just keep it within family and just have you guys have access to the comments. If they want to subscribe and jump in and talk to me like Milbester or somebody else like that, that's fine. But yeah, in some ways, it's something that's part of this channel. Making me upset, it's not that I want people to make me upset on purpose, but it's going to happen. And we can have differences of opinion. And Cool Cat and I have a long history of agreeing and disagreeing. We've had different times where we've very much been on exactly the same page. And there's been times where we have had our little bits of kerfuffle, and we're fine. We're adults, and we both respect each other a lot, and that's the most important thing. Let's see. Cool Cat saying, "Okay, I understand. Yeah, share it so they both get different shots." Yeah, I like the opposite thing, like where Siakam's the point guard, he throws it into Barnes, and then vice versa. And maybe it could be every other trip. Maybe it's like for a section of this quarter, it's going to be we're focusing on feeding the ball to Siakam in the post, or vice versa, depending on what they feel like the better matchup is. Now, some ways I really just want the Raptors to go bully ball on whoever has mouse in the house, whether it's OG, Pascal, or Scotty. And it's really who the defense decides they're going to put the small guy on, and we have the mismatch. That's who we should be going to. Let's see. Jillian saying 11:30 is right now. Drink water, smash the like button. All right, I'm going to do what I've been told. Blackhawks saying true fans discuss the game instead of rehashing the same trade and team points. Yeah, yeah. What? Lex up arguing until 4:45? No, Blackhawk and Cool Cat up arguing until 4:45. I was asleep. They were up fighting for the good name of the Raptors. Late. Blackhawk saying subscribers only is the best way. You take the time to run the channel, so the least anyone can do is subscribe. It is free. Exactly. Now, in the dead period of the summer, maybe I'll take it off just to encourage more people to be involved and talk more, because we have less people involved in the channel in the off season. But during the season, it's pretty much, especially when we're losing like this. All right, freaks, relax. No more comments. Now we're done. Thank you, Jillian. Thank you, everybody, for being here with me. Listen, today's an important day. Raptors, stay focused, stay present. Last night's last night. Today, you're playing the Pistons, and they are a very, very hurt and injured dog in the corner with rabies that wants to bite your leg off. And you need to handle them just like that. You can't act like this is a big, fluffy Barkley dog from Sesame Street. This is a very rabid, dangerous dog with sharp teeth that is hurt, and it does not like its life right now. And y'all need to handle this like that, like a dog catcher would, in that kind of way. And you need to just handle your business and get it over and done with. Seriously. Let's keep it on. All right. I will, Blackhawk. And Cool Cat saying, Lex, this weekend is my last pulling those long hours. Back to work Wednesday. Rabid dog. That's right. Yeah, the Pistons are rabid dog. Look out. Don't put your hand near its mouth. Don't be putting that hand up near the mouth. I wonder if it'll bite me. All right, y'all. Cool Cat, I'm glad you're getting a good break from work. And I love all y'all. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you can, join the channel as a member. There is privileges. You get to be in the Raptor Freak Facebook chat, and we are live chatting during the game. And you're going to hear my comments, Monique's comments, Trevor J talking about being at the game in the comments, telling us what's going on in the arena. So there's a lot of perks to that. Plus, I do sometimes reactions at the end of the game or just for members. So I appreciate all y'all. And let's have a great end to 2024. And let's win and not be stupid and lose the Pistons today. That'd be very, very stupid, Scotty. So don't let it happen. Seriously, you need to take the Scotty versus Cade matchup very seriously and beat your counterpart. You need to have a better stat line than them. You need to outscore him, and you need to stat stuff better than Cade also. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll be back tomorrow with reaction to the two games today. 2 o'clock, Raptors 905. Watch them against Wisconsin Herd. 6 o'clock. Raptors versus Pistons. Doubleheader. Get in your Raptors games. They're coming quick and very soon in the next couple hours. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors. Yeah.